Okay. Welcome to the Hin. Okay. Welcome to the Hidden Driveway Show. I'm your host, Amu, and joining me today we have a very special guest, ELLIEBELL. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm Ellie Bell or Nora, Eleanor. I'm 18. I'm in Richmond, Virginia. I make music with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's rock out, bro.
All right. Well, to get us started, is there anything you'd like to talk about? Is there anything on your mind right now, whatsoever?
On my mind right now, bro, I came into this interview thinking only about Dark Souls 1. And that's just something really honest from my heart.
Have you been playing it recently, or is it just like it's just in there?
I've been playing that game since I was like 12, bro, and I just run it back every once in a while when I need some like comfort. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been running
Wait,
that.
Dark Souls for comfort?
Yeah, bro. It's like I don't know, once you play them enough though, like you kind of like dial in with it and like
Mm-hmm.
the rhythm of it is very comfortable for me in my brain. And like it's just like it's like fun worlds to be in on my computer for a while. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah, actually, I kind of get that because I know when I was playing Cuphead, like after I beat it, I went back to it for a bit and would just play it when I was bored. Because like after a while, you kind of like just know how it works.
Well, like I don't know, getting good at something in general is like a meaningful experience. So when something's difficult and then it's not as hard anymore, I feel like it's inherently gratifying
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. I don't know. I also just like the writing is really good in those games. And I was a like a Dark Souls lore dork in high school.
Yeah, I
It was a
forgot. Is
hobby.
Bloodborne is part of that whole like thing, right?
It's the same devs. It's like a different like fictional world or whatever, but it's I love that game so much, bro. That shit is so gassed.
Mm-hmm. I think the only time I've interacted with Dark Souls like at all recently was like Raw Time by Repair Kit, right?
Mm,
I think the Girls Want Girls, like the piano in that one, is from Dark Souls. I'm pretty sure.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I the music in those games is crazy. They're like the only video games I play anymore. It's like that and then do you know The Binding of Isaac?
that's the only one I play.
Bro, that literally the only game I played for like the past 2 years of my life was
Mm-hmm.
just I would just play Isaac every day without really thinking about it. And it's a special thing, to be honest.
Yeah, I've kind of fallen off it recently, but like last semester, like every day for like a few hours, I'd play it if I had free time.
I definitely fell off it in uni, but it was like high school, senior year last year for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I graduated last year. I guess that's background on me. I'm kind of young. Yeah, I would just like sit in class like half of the day just playing The Binding of Isaac. It was pretty lit. So, God bless that. But what else is on my mind? Let me think, because that was a good ass opener. I feel like it's very fun to work with. Because I'm thinking about like the weather today is so wonderful. It's been like 20 degrees or 10 degrees for like a month in Richmond, and Carter and I, shout out Carter, guys. Wait, everyone go listen to you should put like chapters 226 on the
Yeah,
screen or
it beat me
whatever.
right over there, and
Right wherever it
I
is.
think. Oh no, Noah Fire would be the week after this comes out.
Oh, okay. Well, whenever guys go check out whatever Carter's doing. He's the
Please,
greatest.
I've
And
been waiting so
I went
long.
on a lovely walk with him yesterday to enjoy the weather. Yeah, I've just been like it's been like day-to-day life shit. I'm making a lot of music right now. Fun stuff. Yeah, good life.
Yeah, it was funny when Carter told me that it was like 11 degrees for him. Like I think it was like yesterday, 2 days ago. Like it was 80 over here because I'm in Texas, and it's just so bizarre to me
Oh
that
my
y'all are dealing
fucking
with that right
God.
now.
We're not even that much like we're not that no like up north at all. It's just the East Coast was getting like hammered this year for some reason. I didn't fall over though in the ice,
I
and Carter
did.
did not. That's fucked up. I slipped quite a few times. I hit like like you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When you kind of have to realign yourself. But I never ate shit.
Yeah, no, I got it pretty bad because like it didn't snow here, but it iced over a lot. So people were going like sledding like on campus because there's a lot of hills that just go down, and people were breaking like signs off the wall and like riding on them and stuff.
I went sledding actually. This is like my first show and tell moment I can do is because I don't even know if actually the iPhone camera is visible if I show this up to the camera. But look at how beautiful this view was,
No,
bro.
I see. That's awesome.
We were rocking down this hill. I went with my friends Will and Adam, and anyway, I've just been trying to get outside, guys. I've been trying to live life. I've been trying to be present. Creatively, I've been doing really well because I haven't been putting pressure on myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very much like a one day at a time sort of, not, I wouldn't say impulsive, but I'm just like doing what's fun right
Yeah,
now,
but you've been dropping a
frankly. And
lot recently too.
it's because I've been making like a fuck ton of music, to be honest. And I've had periods where I like was working on stuff every day, but I wasn't finishing everything for like months and months. So it's just like it feels healthy to be like consistently putting stuff out there that I feel like good about.
Yeah. How often do you like sit on a song before you put it out if it's just for a single?
That's interesting. It really like literally just depends on like how I feel about it. Like if it's something I want to save for a project or like just don't feel like I don't know, expressing into the world immediately, I just like don't. But it's kind of awesome that you can just throw something on SoundCloud and I've
Mm-hmm.
been really tapping into like the like intrinsic joy of doing that. And I don't know, like I was freaked out about it's kind of weird to express because it was all very small scale, real like realistically, but like I was a 15-year-old who made like this weird long emo album or whatever that a bunch of like some people liked. And at a point like that was like a not like a career, but that was like what was going on musically for me. And then I felt a lot of weird pressure that was like mostly self-ascribed, you
Mm-hmm.
could say. Um, just like wanting to improve significantly on what I was doing or like push the right stuff forward or whatever. Like I don't know, it was very maximalist stuff I was doing creatively at the time, and it was all very like difficult for me. And I don't know. I have a much different relationship with creating things in general, and I guess a take I'll put out to the world right now is that I think effort is obviously a very important aspect of art, but like intentionality is much more important than raw effort. And over prioritizing effort is like a way to turn yourself into like a laborer about your own
Mm-hmm.
art, and it makes you hate yourself. So it's really important to be like happy when stuff comes easily and see that as like intuition and beautiful art, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do what feels right, cause like I think I had the problem too when I was in high school, cause I never wanted to release any music, cause I was like, nah, it's gotta be perfect though, even though I didn't know what perfect even was. Like I don't think that was ever like a feasible thing for me to reach. But because of that, I would never let myself drop anything, and I kind of regret that in hindsight. I wish I let myself just put stuff out there.
It's interesting because I think a lot of people I even like know people who kind of approach it through this lens and I understand it, but a lot of people try to like perceive their own like aspiring career, whatever you want to call it, creatively, and like try to like plan out their discography and like have like the most perfect body of work humanly possible. But like I don't know, basically my belief is that like art and like creating things is like a as much based on your relationship with yourself as it is anything else at all.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's like a daily practice sort of thing. I don't know exactly how to phrase it, but I don't know. I've been perceiving the process of creating art and making projects sort of differently lately, if that makes sense. Here, I actually know how I can frame this a lot better. Basically, I think intuition is really important for art for me. And I think that my best ideas come from like whatever well of subconscious is going on,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I guess I found that in being like obsessed with intentionality and trying to make stuff that was really cool all the time or like impressive, there's a like I was just distancing myself from my actual like creative impulses and what excited me and getting very into the weeds about stuff that didn't matter in the ways that it should have, right? And like I feel like the feedback you get from creating stuff when you're not doing it from like the right place is kind of weaker and it just can be very demotivating. So the biggest thing for me like in like making stuff is just that like I'm always at least feeling like I guess my standard for stuff is that I feel engaged in making it now and like through the whole process of it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess a lot of it is like art is so weird because you have to trust yourself so hard, and I'm really bad at doing that in like a lot of ways. So yeah, I guess I've been feeling more comfortable with creating things than ever before, is a way I can lay it out simply.
I think it shows though, because you start from like Moth and onward is like so much like looser feeling in comparison to like Epiphanies. So
Absolutely. I mean, that's when you correctly identified the shift for sure. I guess at least when I look back, because like, yeah, I was just freaking out to be completely honest for a while. Like it was not a healthy period for me creatively, and I was very I guess unstable about how much value I felt like the things I was making had, if you know what I mean. Like it was
mm-hmm.
very like one day I'd be really excited about something, and then the next I would like hear a certain like tone in the mix that I didn't enjoy as much, and I'd be like, well, I'd like messed my life up. And it's just like it was very I guess like obsessive and you know, not like good not good energy going on creatively there. So I would say that like there was a creative shift, but I also just had like a big personal moment around that period that kind of just like reflected in my work, I think, where I started like being better to myself. And that's a big part of everything in my life right now. So yeah, basically like I started making music that came from a much less of a place of like or not came from a place of self-critique, but was less motivated by all these like pressures I was putting on myself. And is much more derived from like, you know, joy and
Mm-hmm.
wanting to make it,
And that's
frankly.
how it should be.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's like the energy, the ineffable energy that makes stuff special in some way. I don't know. It's just yeah. And it's more fun. Like it's a better daily life, frankly, than when I was freaking out about album stuff. And I do what's weird is I had like a big second album I was trying to make for all that time. And like I have like a cover and name for it
Yeah, I
and
know
like
you like
seven
teased it, but
songs.
then you like took down the teaser for it.
Yeah, I guess I should clarify. Um, that was just like I don't know what analog to use for it, but basically like I just had this project and I had stuff on it that I was like so proud of that I was like I need to fully encapsulate whatever I'm doing with this so I don't release it in like a way that doesn't do it justice, if that makes sense. I don't know. I was worried about like making the potential of the ideas like come out fully. And I just freaked myself out about it for so long that like the idea of even like trying to make anything else for that project for a while was like harder than just doing something else.
Yeah.
So I just kind of did other stuff that made me feel more fulfilled for a while. But I think I'll like eventually spin back around on those ideas or like I should honestly see how many there are right now because I've been considering like yeah, there's like seven songs done. So I really should just put out like an EP of all of that at some point. I'm sure I'll free myself from thinking about it
Mm-hmm.
soon.
Yeah, is it more like your older stuff for that? Because I know for like what you've been doing recently, you've specified these are like tapes and not like an album. So I don't know if your approach is different for like this album.
Yeah, that distinction was initially so I would feel like less pressure around mixtapes or whatever and have more fun with whatever I was doing on those projects. But I'm at a point now where like I don't really perceive like any something less serious or whatever like that as like any way less valuable anymore. So it kind of just is like they're just more projects. And
Mm-hmm.
to answer your question, the that album is like closer to the first album, but it's not like it's less like electronic guitars and like MIDI stuff and more like folk textures and like strings and acoustic guitar and stuff.
Is
So
that
I'm really excited
I
to
know you had that song with like pencil legs. Is it more stuff like in that realm?
that song is on there actually. Yeah, that was
Ah.
so that's the world of stuff. It has yeah, I definitely should drop this soon. And there's one that I have like a demo of out as a single
Mm-hmm.
right now. So there's yeah, I'm sure it'll come to fruition in some way eventually. I'm just kind of like still gaining positive things creatively from like looking away from that right now, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah, it was a learning experience, frankly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I kind of want to get into how I found out about you initially because it does have to do with like epiphanies. But in 2023, I had just graduated high school, and with plenty of time on my hands
Mhm.
before I started college, I tried to listen to just as much music as humanly possible because I was like, I gotta know all the stuff. I'm gonna meet all these people. I need to know everything ever. So I was trying to go through like all my backlog that I'd had from like my entire like high school experience. I don't know if you're like this too, but I always like pin albums to listen to, and then never get to them. I was like, no, I'm gonna go through all of them, get them all out there.
Well, are we
Um,
both from like the music Twitter trenches of the early 2020s?
Yeah.
Because I know Carter came out of that
Mm-hmm.
too.
No,
So
Carter's what got me into that in the first place.
that makes sense. Yeah, I had to rate your music. I'll lay my life down on the line like that.
Yeah. But two albums from that period that I was kind of grouped together in my head, even though they didn't come out around the same time, was the Now Now and Never by What Is Your Name, and then Epiphanies Tore Through by You, because they both had like a drawn character over like a photograph background. So and they kind of had like a similar sound, but not really. So I always kind of associate them in my head. Also, I think Gwen is who showed me Epiphanies originally, because I was looking through my DMs, them trying to figure out like where I found it, and I couldn't find them sending it to me. But I just saw me saying like, I think you sent this to me a while ago or something like that. So
Oh wow.
that's
If Gwen did that, that's crazy because I
that's some
met
lore
Gwen
there.
seemingly for the first time like 2 months ago, and we're like best buds now. So that's goaded. Um, I actually knew What Is Your Name at that time.
Oh
That makes
really?
this kind of make more sense. We were there's this like indie like Instagram emo label I'm still on for physical. It's called like Reasonable Records, and I think they were at, like either there's been so many like management changes and stuff with that, but it was like I think they were either on it or did a physical release on there. I'm pretty sure it was the latter. And they were at this like big URL fest we did because that was that era. So it was like a community weirdly that existed for like 5 months of like I don't know, like five associated
Mm-hmm.
artists.
Yeah, I know that album predates yours by like a year though, I think.
It does. I they were doing other stuff at the time. That's probably what I was thinking of. Anyway, similar world of things at the time.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well this album exists. And then admittedly I kind of forgot about it for a bit. And then like around when I started doing like these interviews actually, I was doing May XX's interview, so I was looking through like all of her music. And then I saw that you've done a feature on one of her songs called Kinda. And you were like
Yeah,
rapping on it. And I'm like, what? I didn't think she did this. What? That's crazy.
yeah,
And
bro.
the next time that I was I like the time that I like fully tapped into what you're doing was because of the I Love You cipher last year, which Bappy put together. Because it
Mm.
was a lot of people that I knew, and then I saw that you were on there, and I didn't even know that any of these people like knew you or were cool with you like that. So that was like really surprising to see. Because I think in my head you were like way bigger than everyone, just because like Epiphanies had done so well at the time. So to see that everyone was like mutuals with you was like really like jarring for me to see at the time. But like now it makes a
It's
lot of
weird.
sense.
It's weird because like internet fandom is like so nuanced now. So like you'll have if you I feel like if you actually get big on one of those like review outlet sites that people use, which is really like finicky and weird anyway, because those communities are kind of insane and like weird. But anyway, it's a very like weird way to gain an audience because a lot of the time it's very like project centric and like they're not really tied to like other releases you make or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're someone like me who's kind of what's the word? Like finicky about what I make and I'm not very consistent with what I'm focused on, at least over large periods of time. I don't know. It's weird. I like kind of found myself just like switching demographics within the span of a couple years, which is weird because like I don't know, I don't think about stuff like that. It's still like weird to me that people listen to my songs like in like a very material way, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So but yeah, I feel like I've known all the people like that we know each other through since like before I even like made music generally. Or like that's like when the first weird connection started. I just knew so many people through them. And dude, kinda I love that song. And I made that beat too. And yeah, I miss May.
I
Our goat went to film
yeah,
school or
she's
acting
acting.
school.
Yeah, dude, I'm so sad because the one time I got to meet her in person, which was at like the community show like 2 years ago, she came like halfway through, so the show had already started. I just like I think I waved at her, and that was like it. Like I didn't get to talk to her at it.
That sucks. I've never met her, but we've been like internet friends for a long time. And we had a couple like music things that almost came to fruition
Mm-hmm.
as it goes. Which is I feel like that's like a rite of passage with people is like having a dumb failed project between the two of you that you got really excited about.
Yeah, no, I know when I did her interview, Carter told me to name drop some project they were working on at the time together that also never came out. So it's just funny seeing that in there.
But that shit was gonna be awesome. We just like I was in high school, bro. Like, I don't know, it was a hectic time for both of us, I think. And she's doing so cool at her own shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the MVP. But like, dude, there's also I forgot that I did this. I did the album cover for one of her things.
Oh,
I forget
the
which one it.
I know the one you're talking. It's like the blue cover with like the pink background.
Yeah, it's like some drawn
Yeah,
character. I did that. I drew that with my mouse, guys. But anyway, love May. Shout out to May.
that's
I'm
go.
just gonna shout everyone out this interview.
Um, but yeah. So after the I Love You cipher though, I was like, okay, well, if you're like in this like general like space that I'm in, also like I need to actually go catch up on what you've been releasing. And I was like, wait, you're a rapper now? I don't even know. I don't know. This is like the thing now, and I've really been enjoying it. Like I told you, but like Moth is like always on repeat. If I'm just like going somewhere, just need to like chill for a little bit. I really like the vibe that I guess you've cultivated with your music, because it's like I feel like your vocals on your songs are almost kind of like lullabies in a way. Like it's meant to just be like a little like catchy, like chill thing. And then I feel like with your production, you've also kind of found like a unique space for you to just be in, because it's a very like natural progression from your older music. I feel like even though it is like different, it makes sense in terms of like how you've changed it over time. So I guess I was wondering like how you got into making music initially, and like some of your influences for it.
Okay, this is fun. Yeah, I'm flattered, by the way. Thank you. But I got into music. I think my first like creating sounds was like I've been playing guitar. Like I started with an acoustic, and my dad had like a bunch around the house when I was a kid. So I started playing guitar when I was like 6. And then I feel like my earliest influences in terms of like when I felt like I wanted to make music was like I don't know, I was such like an emo kid my whole life. I mean that shows I think an influence in all my music.
Mm-hmm.
But especially like since middle school and then through like all of high school I listened to so much like Midwest emo and especially let me think. I love the Brave Little Abacus, they're big for my whole life. Um this one, I don't know, less people get excited about them, but Marietta, they had a split with Modern Baseball, who people know, but people need to listen to their first album because it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Summer Death. Um, Besides emo stuff though, like I was really into, I had like a big bedroom pop moment when I was in like early high school too. Do you know Bedbug?
No, I don't think so.
It's just like that era of like early Bandcamp bedroom pop that was very like they had like field recording samples and like very simple like drum machines and MIDI and like synths and stuff like that. Just like cute electronic music has always been emotionally resonant to me. I love rap music, obviously. That's most of what I listen to. Let me see what my most recently like fucked with stuff is because I was really rocking with bro. I'm so inspired by every Evil Gianni beat ever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so inspired by Hardofalian. I've been fucking with him for some reason for a really long time because I think it was like there was someone I was really close with in like 2022 who showed me this album. This shit is so good. And that was really inspiring, especially for like Moth and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also around the period of that album, I was getting really into, do you know Two China Poet is?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is funny. I've known China Poet Paul since like 2021 on Twitter. We used to be in a CS:GO group together. But I was very inspired by his beats around that period. And yeah, that whole ambient wave of stuff. I don't know. I feel like basically as far as cataloging like everything I'm into, I think I have like touch points with like melodies and texture that I just kind of always enjoy. And I feel like I'm always just like finding different ways to reach out at that, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my brain, like the feeling and sound I'm expressing with my newer stuff compared to my really old stuff isn't like that much different. In just because like I don't know, I'm always doing I love bittersweet little melodies and I love textures that make me feel certain ways. I don't know. It's like I guess I would say like I've always found that listening to like a broad amount of stuff helps me figure out like how to make music because it kind of teaches you what actually like makes up how things sound compared to like what just makes up like the cultural space it sits in, if you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. And I guess I feel like where my sound exists in my head, like where I find it when I'm working on stuff, and like where I find individuality is like in the transitory like middle space between different sounds I like, and then I just kind of like find what's similar between them. Like there's something that makes me feel the same in Cody and Crazy by Future and also in like Gloria by Mineral. And I just want to like do my own version of that thing. You know what I mean? So I guess that's all been really important for me. Yeah, and I just living in like a post-genre kind of music space like I've grown up in, because
Mm-hmm.
people my age don't really have that same precedent of like respecting genre conventions or anything at all. It's very post all of that. And I feel grateful to, because I feel like that's kind of let me do stuff that I certainly wouldn't have felt inclined to do without having so many like varied influences. And like lately I'm also just inspired by my friends, bro. Like Gwen makes the best beats ever.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard the everyone go listen to the Gwen clips recently too? Disgusting.
I'm on there. It's so nobody's doing it like them.
No, bro. I think this is like a brewing idea, but I want to make a tape with Gwen, so that might happen soon.
They'd love that because the only person they really work with consistently, or always like have, is like Young Rap Poison. If you're familiar with his stuff, so like it'd
Yeah,
be
we
cool seeing that because that's a very. I feel like you're pretty different from what he does.
and I want to like I just want to make it out. I think I talked to them about it because they've been sending me beats, and every time I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? Okay, to get back to the topic at hand, anyway, I guess the way that everything makes sense to me now is I started identifying like there are things in music that make me in particular like excited and inspired. And literally all I do to like formulate my sound is just like shove as many things that I really like into like a organized version of something.
Mm-hmm.
And then and like it's the same thing with like art direction. It's just like stuff I like. And I think that's kind of I don't know. I guess that's part of what drew me to how I've been like sort of moving a bit more freely as an artist and like just doing like SoundCloud drops and shit like that. It just feels very expressive and low pressure and sort of I don't know. I feel like I'm going insane whenever I have to like plan a rollout and engage in stuff for like retention purposes. So right now I'm just enjoying doing everything for the sake of like how good it feels to
Mm-hmm.
express yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think it's been paying off too because like I looked at your numbers like before this, and all the songs on SoundCloud that are like more recent have been doing like pretty good in comparison to like some of the stuff before that.
Yeah, bro. I'm like kind of surprised, but I think it's also been like really exciting because I'm starting to work with a lot of people who I've like just fucked with in the past, like as far as like a listener. So I don't know how to verbalize it exactly, but it feels like I shifted my sound to something that reflects me better right now, and I feel like I'm working with people who I'm equally excited about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it's coming together in a very clear way for me right now, even if it's not like, it's not like a named scene or anything. I'm rocking with my friends, bro.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I know you're a big like Tech Lento fan. So the fact you're doing something with Mimicate's probably definitely really cool for you.
it's actually so lit, and I would like to shout out Mimic Skate, one of the coolest people I've met in a long time, and my UK goat. They have hella birds. One thing you need to know about Mimic Skate is they got hella birds. So, shout out to birds,
Mm-hmm.
and shout out to, I guess we're like halfway done with this album, I would say at this point. So eyes out, y'all. I'm really excited about it. Their beats are so fucking good, bro. And they're so colorful and very distinct from what I do is what I'm most excited about this album is that like I kind of work in or I don't work in the same, but I kind of have gotten to a point where I know what I'm gonna do with production a lot of the time where I have stuff I feel comfortable with, and it's just really awesome to work with other producers finally and like be able to like express and make a song over like some entirely different shit that I never would have thought
Mm-hmm. Like
of,
that Isaac
frankly.
song.
Bro, yeah, or like the ones Mimicskate has been sending me are like they're like these crazy ass MIDI beats with like the craziest colors and synths ever, and just like even dude, the stuff that there was one you sent me, I swear to God. I'm gonna hit that soon because I was really fucking with
That'd
it.
be really cool.
But there
Thank
was
you.
who it was someone, it was I think Isaacs and some other people sent me some that had like crazy ass drums. Anyway, I'm very thankful for all the producers sending me beats, guys, because it's so fun. And that's been a big thing recently. Because I think after this Mimic Skate album, I'm probably just gonna stop doing the I'm probably just gonna drop an album that's like a bunch of songs I made with a bunch of producers that I really like. And keep going from there. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's pretty much just like put out what I get excited about from now on and figure out how best to do that as I go. It's a very like I don't know. It's just like I feel secure right now creatively, and I feel like I'm just thankful, man. I'm so thankful for all the prods, bro. Everyone's so goated right now. Like it's actually crazy, and I haven't been in a musical scene that I feel like this excited about really ever in my life, or
Mm-hmm.
just like around people. I felt so truly like I have so much faith in these people and their work and like dude do you know Flea Friends?
Yeah.
Dude, like they're so crazy and they make so much self-prod music and they send so many great beats to everyone. And it's just like as simple as it is, I'm also just like kind of recently feeling invigorated by seeing so many people doing things that's like really impressive to me or really like I don't know. They just make me like happy. And people are very involved, I feel like, in collaborative things right now. I don't know. It's a good space to make art in the world, is the
Yeah.
TLDR. I'm being very wordy. I
No,
apologize.
you're good. I haven't heard that much of Fleet Friend stuff, admittedly, but like that song for Roach Girl is like insane with Mimic Skate.
Bro, and Roach Girl too, like she came out of fucking nowhere and is just like the greatest. And yeah, man. So cool and so unique too. Like nothing sounds like the Roach Girl music that's out right now.
Mm-hmm.
What was that first song called?
Looking for something new. That was one that Gwen and Orange produced. That's like actually
That
one
one
of the
is
greatest songs like
like
ever.
I know, bro. I was like trashed in Carter's dorm like the second week of the semester, and he showed it to me the first time ever. It was very special. And she's so sweet. We have I have more songs with her coming as well because she sends me really beautiful guitar melodies, and I have not hit them yet, and I would like to formally apologize. But I'm so excited too. Yeah, just shout out everyone. Like truly, it's I don't know. I was really jaded about online music for a couple of years too, I think, to be honest. And like I guess what I was like closest to when I made my early stuff was like the fifth wave emo sort of world of stuff, however you want to and like I don't know. There's a lot to feel negatively about there. It was just very it's kind of hard to describe the
I
vibe,
think
but you
also
know, I
like with
think
those like with the kind of music they're making, I feel like it might not be the best space to be in just because like a lot of people probably also like feel like shit a lot of the time too. That's just not the best environment to like be in, unfortunately.
and they were all like 14 or like really sad and 23. It was just like a kind of a mess.
Yeah.
But I obviously have people I still fuck with from there. And dude, another big inspo for me, Your Arms Are My Cocoon is like one of the best emo bands working right now. And my good friend Alyssa plays saxophone in that band, guys. So shout out to Alyssa.
Shout out.
Um, she is such a good visual artist too. So fuck with her on Instagram. Wait, I can't shout out everyone, but
You
you
could
know,
though.
I can do whatever. But anyway, I'm just yeah, I feel like I'm surrounded by wonderful people, and that kind of keeps me going generally. And I that applies to music in a way it never really has before for me right now. Like I've also just been fucking with so much new music as a listener. Like I recently got into I've gotten into them through their beats because they're really popular as a producer right now, but Sophisha
Oh yeah,
is this
yeah.
artist. Bro, their solo music recently has been like insane. It's like synthwave, like witch house shit that sounds giant and is like anyway, just a random example, but SoundCloud is like so good for finding music still. And don't let anyone tell you it's dead, because that shit is like fake news.
Also, like literally, like you can look up like a tag and find a new favorite artist like off of that. Like it's so crazy.
That's what I'm saying. It's like SoundCloud is run really badly. Like I'm not ever gonna dispute that, obviously. And the app is like kind of like the website keeps getting kind of worse, but it's still like by far the most easily accessible way for any kid to put their music on the internet. And the thing is that all the kids are goated. So like you just need to keep your ear to the ground, bro.
No, I think the people are what make SoundCloud so great because like yeah, as a platform it sucks, and especially with like getting yourself heard, it can be hard sometimes. But like the people there in the community that's just kind of naturally formed, which like SoundCloud never had any control over. That's kind of like the congregational like place. Like it's so cool.
No, absolutely. I feel like they kind of lucked out by just being like, or by catching the opportunity of being like the first popular streaming platform that allowed you to just upload something instantly for free. And like, because of that, they've managed to acquire like so much cultural like recognition because every like most interesting artist of the last like 15 years or 30 years was on SoundCloud, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, truly, like a whole era of music pretty much wouldn't have even somewhat happened without it as a platform. But that's not
Mm-hmm.
because of anything it did specifically. And they kind of keep making stuff worse. And I'm like, dude, no shade, but like the stream payouts are already really bad on every platform, and SoundCloud is like it's like one third of the other ones. Shit is crazy, bro. And shout out to every single community ever on SoundCloud and zero shout outs to SoundCloud themselves. Unless they promo my shit. I gotta get one of those like, bro, remember, maybe you remember this. I remember in like 2021, like the main like SoundCloud Twitter account started going really hard promoting Digicord
Yeah,
for some
yeah.
reason. And it was like, I
Dude,
swear to God, it
wasn't
was
there a
like this.
Digicore like New York Time, not New York Time, like New York Times Square like billboard for
Bro,
Digicore?
and like I think it was that like one of the people, the first manager of that label, Dead Air, was like, I swear to God, they like worked for
Yeah,
SoundCloud or
I'm pretty
something.
sure.
But I really was pulling that thread out of my brain, and I was remembering like that was really the moment on SoundCloud for a minute. That shit was crazy. Well, I guess you know what? Right now, I'm so much happier that that's not going on SoundCloud. Frankly, we need Xavier So Bass. We don't need Lou
True.
in this world, and that's something really important for us to remember. Anyway, I kind of forget the question. We've just been chatting,
Yeah.
but
I guess I was also
hopefully
curious
I
about
still.
like your writing influences because there's definitely like a way that you write your songs in that like vaguely abstract way.
This is these are different, I think. Well, I try to read a lot too, and I'm very into like I think my writing is probably the part of my music that's the most inspired by like outward factors that outside of like music I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I mean you see like writing and text being used in powerful ways in like every piece of art ever. So let me think, what's good? Well, as far as musicians, I have always been a huge fan of Adrian Lenker's lyrics. Alex G, I think, has that same sort of like it's the thing I try to go for of just like having a visceral sense to everything or a vividness to the words and how much like you I don't know, just using language for impact in like abstract ways is something that's always really appealed to me. And like obviously like now that I guess I rap more than I sing, I would have to shout out like this is interesting because I haven't thought about my rap. The like 2023 2024 run of tapes by Quinn.
Yeah.
Those vocals were actually really inspirational to me. I just think she was rapping her ass off and still is. And I think 454 is like low key the GOAT. I think Chief Keef obviously, but for me like what era? I think for me it would be like 2014, 2015 Chief Keef had like a lot of influence on how I hear rhythm and like approach it vocally. I don't know, just hella people, bro. It's like synthesis is like the coolest thing ever in music, and it's how everything new gets made. But yeah, pretty much like I write lyrics because I listen to way too much emo music and I read a lot of weird books too. I love you know, you're like Thomas Pynchon's, all your postmodern weirdos. I really like. I've been talking to Carter about that shit, and like I just feel better. It's weird because like the lyrics I write now are like rap lyrics, right? And they're very obviously not at all analog to a novel, but just seeing anyone like express themselves through the written word in like unconventional ways kind of fuels my sense that I can do it in cool ways. And dude, Blade does say like the coolest stuff ever in every song, and I need to shout that out because everyone knows that everyone's inspired by Blade, but like people like really don't listen to what he says though. That's what I've been thinking about for a long time. Yeah, anyway, just like I think pretty much I'm drawn to a similar quality in all of the work that inspires me writing wise, which is just like I would say maybe I value impact over like formal consistency or sensibility. And I like when things break conventions to like make more of an impact. And I like when people use weird words. And
Yeah,
I like word choice.
I was talking to my friend about this recently, but I feel like there is no good way to write something because it's the only good way to write it for you because you can say a good line, but it won't sound right coming out of like your mouth, for example. It's like you have to kind of say
Mhm.
what speaks to you personally for it to sound right.
That's so true. Like this is so weird about rapping too. Because like when you're rapping, it's like so basically like how good it sounds like when someone is rapping is like based on how much it really sounds like they're saying the shit they wrote, if you know what I mean. I think that's really important at least. So yeah, it almost feels like lately there's like this really nice cycle where vocals are easier to do the more expressive I am through writing and stuff like that. And like yeah, basically this is a weird way to verbalize things too, but like writing lyrics especially because it's like poetry has always felt like painting to me in a very specific way where like I don't approach writing especially recently from like a perspective of narrative or like trying to tell a individual story but rather like honing in on a specific feeling or thing and like just sort of like building all the imagery and a world around that and seeing where it goes if that makes sense
Mm-hmm.
because it's really possible to just like or at least I find this exciting too, is like you can kind of plug yourself into a space artistically for a song and then just kind of let yourself do whatever with it as you go through it and see where you find yourself, you know. All of that is so critical to me, honestly. And I think part of it is that like I've come to trust wherever like weird places I find myself as much as like the stuff that makes sense to me linearly like, you know, if I can verbalize why something's impactful for a song, that's kind of convenient, but it doesn't I don't have to. It's not any of our jobs to intellectualize this stuff. So, low key, like I've just been thinking about stuff as little as I ever have and just doing
Mm-hmm.
it. And it's been very that's kind of a consistent thread for all of my aspects of making things right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard Come Over by Zyber?
Let me
That's like his
I've
most
definitely heard
recent
some Zyber.
single.
I don't think I have, but I have to tap in
But
because I
there's
didn't
a
even know
line
he
on that
dropped.
song where he says, "I'm living like Bart and I'm drinking like Homer," and that can be played as a funny line in some songs, but he says it like fully seriously on that song and like sells it because of the delivery, and that's kind of
Yeah,
like
that shit's
you
hard.
have yeah, but like that kind of shows like an example of like if you say it because it sounds right to you, then it's gonna sound hard. But like that line could very easily just feel like a silly line, like another song. I don't know.
Absolutely. And delivery is like so much more subtle than people tend to perceive it as, I think. Like, I don't know. A lot of discussion around vocals is usually focused on like how conventionally like proficient the performance is like tonally. But I think so little is like so little thought is given towards how like you're like emotionally performing while verbalizing words and like how you carry them out of your mouth. It's like the subconscious bedrock for all the stuff you're saying is what you're getting at, I think. And that's so important. So I lately also just try to like say stuff in a way that really makes me feel it, you
Mm-hmm.
know? All of that is really important. And additionally, like simple stuff like repetition and just like pacing your words out can make things have different emotional impact, you know? And all of that ties in with songwriting, I feel like too, because like, you know, I find very often that like I write over the music I make. That's how like I write songs. And usually like the emotional like thread of the writing I'm doing is like informed kind of by what the song is doing audibly, even if I'm not like explicitly thinking about doing that. So it all comes together for sure. And I feel like it all, if you're working from like when I have stuff come to me easily, it feels like all the stuff I'm trying to do is all like reaching towards similar goals. That's all working together, and it's beautiful and exciting.
Yeah. I'm also glad that you mentioned 454 for the influences because I was going to mention that, like, I feel like your music sounds very much like it's outside now. Because I think with Epiphanies, it definitely sounded like it was made like in your bedroom, but your music now sounds like the outdoors. And 454's music, like you can picture someone like walking like on a sidewalk when you listen to his music, and it's like really hot outside. So I feel like you've kind of
And
taken
what's
that
so lit
influence and
is like
shaped it in your own way for like the aesthetics that you want to put in your music.
what's also lit is I think it's both like I'm making outside music because I'm listening to more outside music, but I'm also making and listening to more outside music because I'm outside more now. Like I was not just like to be completely frank, I was like a sad 15-year-old making that record too. And that's something that now is like a unique quality of it to me. But honestly, having a lot more fun on this new shit. And it's all very sample based too, which is a big 454 inspo thing. Cause I don't know exactly how, for some reason, like sample music feels like outside, walking, alive, beautiful, like I love life music to me so
Mm-hmm.
much of the time. And I just love like how much texture you can get out of recontextualizing other stuff. And anyway, that's kind of an outside topic, but yes, I'm making like outside person music now because I'm getting out of the house quite a lot and have um I guess I'm trying to, live in a way that's more conducive to feeling like that. Anyway, it's weird to look at your like rut music is a way to phrase it. And especially when it's from that long ago, but it's also so awesome because like that's really not me anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
that's so lit. So yeah, shout out to growth, bro.
Absolutely. Actually, on that topic, so at least for me, making music when I was in high school felt a bit isolating at times, especially being involved like in like an online scene of sorts. It kind of felt like I was living a double life sometimes, where like I go to school, I talk to all these people, and then I go home, I talk to all these people, and there is no overlap, no relation like whatsoever. But this changed as I got to college because I met a lot of people that just happen to have like online mutuals with me for some reason, and I even have like an old online friend that like goes to my college now just by chance. And I know you've had a similar experience because Chapter 226, Century, and like Night Goer all go to your college and they're all involved in the scene to an extent. So I guess I was just curious like how the like merging of worlds has been and also how you balance like music with school because you do drop like an insane amount right now.
This is a fun question. Basically, like I was like, I don't know, I struggled with like having a social life that felt fulfilling in high school for a lot of the reasons you expressed, because like what I was focused on like most of every day was very much internal and very much like hard to explain to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And especially it was like earlier years, like freshman and sophomore year, I was much more isolated about it. And I kind of found my little pocket of community in my hometown near the end of that period. But yeah, like I came to college and like, dude, the first day I moved here, I met Carter through chapters 226 through my friend Anna, who I had known for like 5 years online or whatever. And then I met Century, Big Adam through Carter. I met a bunch more for like people who either like listen to the same stuff as us or make music. Yeah, it just feels like the world I've been sort of inclined to focus on my whole life now exists around me, if that makes sense. And I don't have to constantly like make an effort to surround myself by it. And it's very rewarding. And it's just like a really nice contrast, honestly. And it's wonderful to have people over and just work on things with them. And like a lot of the music I've made recently has been like over my friends' beats that they made here. And it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's had the effect of making me feel much more like confident in the fact that like what I'm doing isn't just some nonsense. You know what I mean? Imposter syndrome, however you want to phrase it, I don't like whatever that sort of invalid feeling is, it can come from the fact that like the only people who I knew who listened to my music I saw through a computer screen. And existing in a real space where it like is material, it's there, it's outside, it's in real life, closes up that gap a bit for me. And it also just kind of honestly being around people who are having fun making music all the time just kind of keeps you inspired, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt my like creative juices running dry a lot less than I used to.
Yeah, I think the fact that that separation like isn't there anymore helps a lot. Just because like again, if it's just you doing it on your own, and like all the people around you are focused on like completely different things than you, it feels kind of hard to like justify what you're doing in a way because like
Yeah,
it's so
absolutely.
separate. But having your friends not only like make music but in that same space as you as well, because like I have a lot of art friends in my college too, but like they're not involved in like this at all, and that's fine. But it would be cool to have people here that like are like involved in this somehow, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And it's just like I don't know, it's so hard to basically like things that are online are real, but unfortunately you don't get to live like a day-to-day life alongside them most of the time. The good things that are valuable in real communities. So I just frankly I lucked out and like the community I found on the internet exists in this spot where I live now. And it really wasn't like an intentional decision to do that. It kind of just happened. But yeah, it's really awesome. And like there's a lot more like shows and stuff happening in Richmond than my hometown too.
Mm-hmm.
And with, smaller people who some of which I've like made music with. And I can leak this probably. I might actually play a show in Richmond kind of soon in the
Ooh,
next couple
that'd
months.
be awesome.
It's did Carter tell you about the Swords 2 show
Yeah,
we saw together? It's the person who organized that hit me up. Did they tell you about the jump scare that happened while I was there?
yeah,
I don't want to air that
yeah.
out
You don't need to air that, but yeah,
on
I know.
I needed to know that you heard about that because it was really funny. Anyway, yeah, no, that's so invaluable. And like I think it's really a shame how many like communities are don't have a spot to exist in the real world or don't have like, a consistent presence in people's daily lives because that's really hard and it can kind of alienate yourself from your own like daily existence because you're always thinking about something else. And that yeah, it's depressing at a time.
Yeah, I think it's so crazy that like you and Carter were on a song together before you even like actually knew each other too.
I know, and then I showed up and he just like lived 5 minutes away from me and just like, what's up, man? I'm gonna hang out with him tonight, probably. I wanted to try and FaceTime him at one point during this interview.
I mean, you can get him. I mean, I guess you won't be able to hear the audio probably. You can get him on here.
But really, you know, his spirit is over this entire interview anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, that shit was crazy. And like he's very extroverted, frankly. So that's my goat. He makes me meet a lot of people and gets me out of my room. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I
God
know with
bless
him and
Carter.
Adam, like, because they had lab together like a good amount, but they didn't like. I don't think they actually like talked that much. And then he just saw that like he was at the same orientation session, and so he was like, "What?" So they met up because of that.
I mean, that's honestly just lucky because I didn't know anyone in my orientation session. And some lore, bro, I had a stomach bug when I went to orientation for my college. And whenever I tried to eat food, I would just throw up. So I did not meet Adam until my first day here. But then we all hit it off like immediately in my life. And yeah, those are like there should be a word for like when it's not your day ones, but like they came in like at the start of a new chapter. You know what I mean? Like that's my day
That's your day
twos.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're truly so important to me and their influence I think exists in everything I've made since I've met them because they're part of my life and they're important. I love my friends. I love you guys. I don't know if they're watching, but
They better be.
I'm not like I don't have showmanship, but I'm trying my best out here.
I had a sort of similar experience at mine because I don't know how long your orientation was, but like I was there for like three days I think, and my orientation roommate like I didn't see him at all for the entire first day because we were both out of our room the entire time, and then it was like
Mm,
1 in the morning. We both came back and we were talking and we exchanged Instagrams, and I saw that he had like just been to like a Hunter Gex show, and I was like,
that's
"Do
fire.
you know Hyperpop Bailey?" Because it was like 2023. He was like, "Yeah," and like he had all these friends that were into the same stuff that I was in, and I got really lucky with that because like if that didn't happen, like I don't know where I would be right now because those are all still my like friends now that I talk to every day.
You could say Hyperpop Daily saved your life.
I think 100 Gex saved my life. That's what I want to go with.
That's true.
Thank you,
It's
RLS.
much funnier Dude, in 2021 though, Hyperpop Daily had like real cultural capital, bro. They were important.
Mm-hmm.
You would yeah. I'm an underground meme account hater, frankly. I think low-key underground rap is like being really badly flanderized by the
Yeah.
fact that everything is a meme right now.
No, that's why I don't like
And
42 CEO, just because like you can just report on what's happening. You don't have to make it funny, you know?
it's true, and it's all like I don't know. It just all seems like basically like the culture of the music that these people are a fan of is like a sort of sensational like image to them and not like they're not normal about it. No,
Mm-hmm.
they're so weird. And they keep listening to the worst rappers. They keep listening to Nine Vicious.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I my like slop recently that I'll watch is like those underground like commentary YouTubers that I'm sure you've come across. Because there's like four of them now, and they'll just have these like streams where they just like discuss like whatever's happening in the moment. But they always have like the worst takes ever, and they ride for Nine Vicious like super hard for some reason. And I just gotta sit there and be like, yeah, yeah.
That paid promo coming in, bro. But like, dude, we have like Nyante, we have Lorado, we have like Osiris Israel. There's so many rappers to listen to. You can go listen to like, I don't know, go listen to Dragnuts, bro. Like seriously, if you haven't listened to Dragnuts and you've listened to Nine Vicious, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you need to go look up Dragnuts on YouTube and listen to the first song you see.
Dude, there was this guy in my college that was trying to flex to me that his friend knew 406 Ahmad. I was just like, why is that the one you're like, yeah, I know the Nine Vicious producer. Oh yeah.
That's so funny because it's not he doesn't even know him. His friend knows him.
Yeah.
And it's not like his friend knows Nine Vicious. His friend knows Nine Vicious. That's like so many degrees. That's like if your dad had met like Kevin Hart's friend. It doesn't matter. But it's also Nine Vicious's producer, so that's really lame. Um, you know, I'm not a fan of Nine Vicious. I'm a big fan of a lot of the weird vocals in rap recently. A lot of the weirdest versions. But I like he's not even interesting. He's just doing like a worse version of
Young Thug,
like
yeah.
Lil.
And then he can't have his own unique cover art either, which is like a whole other thing.
But also, I feel like no one's talked about how he's cloning Lil Keed because Lil Keed like low key died and people forgot about his music. But like Lil Keed was the goat and his swag is around still, guys.
Admittedly, like I haven't heard any of his stuff outside of like his double XL stuff from like 2020. And I know that was not his best showing from like what I've heard, so
You got to tap into some Lil Keed. I promise. He was really like one of the greatest. And I feel like he definitely like has sort of an appreciated influence on a lot of the sounds in the underground right now. He had like these really simple, like almost like colorful video game melody beats that he would do very expressive vocals on, and they were less like Young Thug melodic flourishes and a lot like I don't know. Some of that like visceral thing was definitely there.
yeah. I know Danny Kyoko was really inspired by Keed from what they've said.
Yeah, bro. Because and that's what I'm saying. Like that rage thing or whatever you want to call it, like that very hyper sound. Definitely keyed roots in there, and it's worthwhile music to go back and listen to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, I love rap music so much. That's so much what I think about every day, and so many people that are like advertising themselves online as explicitly rap fans, like only talk about the genre like they fucking hate it, and it makes me want to drive my head through like a wall.
No, because also they're always arguing, or they're like, "This guy didn't is he gonna sell this many copies of his album?" That's
Oh my
just not
fucking
how we need to
God, bro.
talk about music.
And this shit where like everything has to be like a negative trend and everything was always better in 2016 underground. Like, oh, I I hate this thing that people do where they basically when they suck at finding new music, they generalize the entire scene of underground rap as like everyone is doing the same thing. And it's literally just that you've been listening to Destroy Lonely still. Like it's literally just that you're still listening to Opium. Go look someone up on SoundCloud. Like we really have ST6 Jody Booth now. We really have Jawman. Like you can go spread your wings and fly. And yeah, if people were more active fans of stuff in this world, I think people would be a lot less annoying about the art they consume.
Yeah, well, this is a broader discussion about like short form content too, because a lot of people will just like if it gets shoved in their face, that's what they'll take, and they don't want to look any deeper than that. But
Yeah, that's the shit that I mean, that's why like It's so funny to me that like I don't know. It's like happens every single time like a sort of a cult piece of media blows up on like a social now where like everyone gets into it for a period and then everyone starts hating it for a period because they never really even rocked with it like that at first. And it's just this cycle where like everything, I don't know. It feels like everything just gets reduced into being novel for a period and then not novel because like no one even cares what it is. That's sometimes how stuff feels online.
Yeah, I also feel like, especially for music, a lot of it kind of has to be polarizing now because like if it gets engagement in any way, shape, or form, like people will talk about it, and that's I think why Booyah is so big now, even though I think he's terrible, like because it gets people to
I
talk
do
about
I
it.
like his old music. I do like his old music. But I do understand what you're getting at. Yeah. No, that's very true. And like also unfortunately like because underground rap is like has a lot of like young fans and it's exists on TikTok and Instagram, like it's so image based. So so much of it is just about like what, you know, what brand people are putting out. And people have these like I don't know. It's like guerrilla marketing tactics are
Mm-hmm.
going out from every up next up rapper every week, and it's tiring.
Have you seen the stuff with Slayer? Like that made me so angry.
Bro, like, cause I literally, I, I can't lie, I just had never found Slayer interesting enough to listen before or after any of that, but I certainly heard about him during that whole thing.
Yeah, and it's just like he's not even fat, and that was a point of discussion for some reason. If people be like, guys, he has no aura. He makes good music though. Why does this matter? Like I don't
That's so
understand.
true. No, and like, well, I mean, it also is like, I don't know, there's a certain like, there's something like a little bit politically evil about a lot of underground rap kids and like the way they I think it's just like being a dumb 14-year-old though, and they just love vanity and they love outfits. It's okay. And they want everyone to be, dude, why does every rapper have to be 20 pounds now? Why do they all have to have an eating disorder?
No, like
That's all.
it's like K-pop stan fans, but it's like for guys. Like that's basically like
That's exactly what it is, dude. Netspam was like 17. They were talking about that boy's body because he was on stage in a t-shirt. Like, what are you doing?
yeah.
I think it has something to do with the fact that a lot of people inherently don't have any respect for like rap as a cultural institution and see rappers as like inherently less respectful cultural figures for some reason and see them as like fodder for jokes because they're commonly known among people and they don't hold like respect for them even though they should because they're fans of their art. But yeah, that's such a big problem and like dude, the shit that made me so upset was all like every single thing that's ever happened to Osama-san. Because he's really so talented and
And so
just
like
like
nice too from what I've heard. But then hey off stuff like the
he's has no allegations. That's
yeah.
all. That's like that's fucking crazy as far as underground rap goes. So leave that boy alone, bro. And like stop leaking his music.
Like he
I
literally can't catch a break.
no, and it reflects, I don't know. I just it was like truly upsetting for me. And I didn't really it was like half people being normal about it when it happened, and then just like half people laughing about it. But I don't know. Earnesty is like ultimately like the hardest thing to find consistently online, and it's driving everyone a little crazy, is how I would probably define it. And I'm just happy to exist in a place like all the stuff I said before was pretty much just getting at the fact that like the spot we exist in and I exist in online is pretty earnest and enthusiastic and cooperative. And that's like really rare
Yeah, and
anywhere
also
now.
I think when that kind of behavior is present, like it gets shut down pretty quickly. Also,
Yeah, absolutely. Because honestly, like it's a smaller thing we're involved in. And it's, I wouldn't say gate kept, but like, you know, in that way, gatekeeping is pretty good, man.
yeah.
You gotta hold people to their shit. And yeah, people just like uncouth is how I would say it. Everyone's uncouth about things nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think it kind of has also helped me to disconnect from all of that stuff for the past while anyway, because like it's so interesting that you join an internet music community and you literally talk about anything besides the music like the entire time. So, you know, something's wrong with online music discussion, I think. That could be a topic of today's discussion for sure. Because, yeah, people like everyone treats artists horribly, truly. And I also was like, think like a lot of the rating sites, like Rate Your Music or Album of the Year or whatever, have very like specific user bases with specific bases for quality and things like that. And it's just all restrictive to the artist, I think.
Yeah, one thing I found is that like if Rate Your Music tends to like an album, Album of the Year will like hate it for some reason, which is really weird
It's
because
like
you'd think they'd have similar user bases, but they don't. And usually it's like hip hop
what
stuff
I
is
found
rated
is
really
that
poorly on there.
I was gonna say I don't think anyone on Album of the Year has progressed past like the 2018 like Earl Sweatshirt old head phase where you only like Mike Slums type beats because they all hate whenever an artist releases something that has like auto tune and a Z808 in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I to me it always comes off as sort of like a cultural thing as much as anything, or like the as like the mumble rap claim, you know what I mean? But yeah, that shit's crazy. And you basically can't let yourself think that any of it means very much at all if you make music, because I kind of did for a minute when I was young and it made me go crazy. So that's yeah.
Yeah, I think also like if you can even be like compared to Jane Remover, it's like a death sentence for those people because they will say it's bad because it sounds like Jane Remover, even though all those people also like Jane Remover, which makes no sense to me. Yeah, I know people are
Bro,
saying that about your album, like Bappy's album was getting that, even though there's literally no similarities, and they were making it before, also, so that's like a whole other thing.
I can't even lie. Like I was big on Frailty at the time I made that album. But it's not like that similar, bro. I was pulling out the Midwest emo guitars on there. I was doing some acoustic drums. Like I really thought I was in the sauce. And they were telling me it was Frailty but snowy. I was like, "Damn, bro." No, but yeah, basically that kind of taught me a lesson ultimately. Basically the way, at least I think that the way things are perceived in online music circles is like even compared to how most things are pretty varied and how the public perceives them is like incredibly fragile and up open to like popular opinion just sort of becoming the truth to a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
that even if it has like no bearing on stuff. And you can kind of look at so many examples, I think, of like popular, like there'll be bands that get popular in online music spaces and like for some reason only one of their albums or two of their albums will become like canonized by those people, and then you'll see that people just start only listening to those, and like the cultural narrative becomes that one certain part of an artist's body of work is like the only part worth visiting or whatever, and it's that's just someone's perspective on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm afraid of that happening with like Sticker Push and Heaven Souls, if you know them, because like they
I
had their
do.
album blow up recently, but they have so much music outside of that, and no one's listening to any of it, even though it's also all really good.
No, they're like some of the coolest people ever. And like I think they've been an interesting thing to look at for me because they're kind of recently being exposed to that whole world of people being fans of you in that way. And it really is crazy. And they had like they were getting harassed by someone named DJ Chud on Twitter.
We talked about in Sticker Push's interview, but that thing especially is making me so angry because like DJ Chud has 60 monthly listeners on Spotify. Like, even if they do sound similar, which they really don't, Sticker Push would have to know who he is in the first place to rip him off, and I don't think that would happen. Like,
But they're also just both like they're just both really weird in a somewhat similar way. But none of the like actual like moment to moment sounds are very analog at all. And that's kind of how I felt about pretty much every comparison I've seen between like two things being overly similar that I disagreed with on like Rate Your Music or
mm-hmm.
whatever, is that it pretty much is just like if like the image or the aesthetics are too similar and it somewhat formally seems the same, people really will just ignore the qualities of the music. Dude, the amount of stuff I've seen get called derivative of like they were calling like Cold Visions, I don't know, like derivative underground rage music. Just because like it had one angry beat on it or
But also
whatever.
like
It's just
he's literally
like
working with Filthy, who helped define that sound. So like, what do you mean?
and also like moment to moment, half of the songs in that album have completely different sounding beats, and he's not rapping like any of those people. And he's not saying the same things as any of those people. And it's like a completely different I just I wish that more people would perceive music through a smarter lens of critique is really what I'm getting at. But I also think ultimately, like, I don't even like when stuff is framed as critique. Like, I wish we could just talk about art. You know what I mean? I wish we
Mm-hmm.
could just talk about how awesome it all was. And I also think that it kind of doesn't really, thankfully, matter that much because the online communities that come up around this stuff, I've realized are like so frenetic and so like kind of loud and consistent in how active they are when they exist, but they're really small and like really niche.
Yeah, it's also because like
So
we're involved in these spaces too, so we're gonna see it more. That's the other thing.
yeah, exactly. But like, who the fuck gives a who? If you talk to someone on the street, they don't know what album of the year is. It's fine, guys. And most people on the street you'll talk to will actually like Thoughtbreaker by Chief Keef and not say it's bad. So, you know, I win. I'm
Yeah.
such a big fan of Chief Sosa.
So this past year has introduced me to a lot of new responsibilities that I have to have, just because like I'm getting older. Like I have my own apartment now, which has been a big thing, and because of that, I have to go grocery shopping now, which is a part of my routine that I've admittedly have really been enjoying. And a big part of that is because whenever I go, I always listen to Moth just because it's like chill, so to listen in the background. And like I
Mhm.
know my first time I was kind of stressed just because like I had to take like a 40-minute bus there and then get my stuff and then bring it all the way back. And I was like, oh my god, how am I gonna do this? 'Cause I had to do that before. But I don't know. It just makes the whole experience really relaxing. It's become a nice little like ritual that I have every week that I do. So I guess I was wondering like, are there any like routines that you have that you tend to do a lot that are just like, yeah, this is awesome. I like doing this thing.
Like, okay, that's fire. We're thinking like consistent comfort routines is where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
I okay, well, let's think. Okay, I love riding public transit for one thing. I don't have to get groceries that far away because we have a grocery store on my like block, but sometimes I have to go to CVS to pick up my medicine at the pharmacy, and I'll always pick an album to listen to through that whole experience on the bus and everything, and it's pretty nice. Um I go on a lot of walks in general. I think that's like my downtime is I'll like go on a walk, maybe have a little spliff. And I tend to listen to I had certain albums I would go to all the time for a while. Stars Fell on Trench by Quinn
I need to listen to
was
that
the
one
tape.
still.
That shit's really good. I would listen to that for a while. I was listening to Weight of the World by Mike from 2020. I was running that back lately. Skin EP by Glowsuka. Shout out to that. And some of my friends' music. It's just like my downtime tends to be when I'm or not downtime, but my like peace time is when I'm wandering around generally
Mm-hmm.
because I have to walk most places. So yeah, like while walking and listening to music is generally my default like processing place.
Yeah. I have a kind of similar one because there's this park that's close to where I live that has this massive like it's just like net structure that's like 10 feet off the ground that you can just like chill in, and you can go there at night too. So sometimes like if there's just stuff on my mind, I'll like listen to chill music, go there at night by myself because it's not that far from me, and there's lights too, so I'm not like worried about getting like attacked or anything. I don't know, but, like I'm never scared to go there at night or anything. And like, if I got something I need to get off my head, I'll just put it on my close friend's story. At least I'm going outside to like get these thoughts off my mind or whatever, and it makes me
Yeah,
feel a lot
absolutely.
better. So I feel like that's a good like routine that I have that I like a lot.
That's why I go on walks. It's the exact same thing. I'm like an anxious person and I feel like I just convince myself everything is going to be harder and more painful than it is a lot of the time. So very critical for me to just like be somewhere else and be walking somewhere and be like, all right, let's like I don't know. It's like this very simple thing of I feel like for me, I just kind of like whittle my brain down to just like being in like basic going about my day survival mode so I can kind of figure out if I'm going insane or not for real. And
Mm-hmm.
usually I'm chill. So I've identified with you very much on that. We're all real walkers in this zone.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Another one is like I've been trying to watch more movies recently. I was thinking about it later, but I will pop up in my bed with my laptop in my lap and just watch a movie, and like that's been a good thing too because like I've needed to watch more stuff, and that's like the perfect place to do because I don't have a TV here. So
That shit's fire. I'm a big movie head. I used to kind of suck at watching movies, and then in high school, I trained my brain to not be weird about it anymore, and it was such a good They work for me because you can like watch it in one sitting and just finish it and be like, oh, I did something, and it's like that was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, can I ask like do you have a favorite movie you could throw at me right now?
Uh, Everyone rides the carousel. Probably. Me and Gwen have talked about that movie a lot. There's like, do you know what that is?
I don't think so, but I've probably heard of it. I talk to Gwen about movies pretty often. Let me see. What's it called?
Everyone rides the carousel.
Everyone Rides the Carousel. No, I haven't heard of that. Wait, oh, are you talking about We're All Going to the World's Fair?
No.
Or is that something different? Okay, then yeah, that was the only bell that was wrong, and I had to make sure that's what it wasn't what it was called.
Um, it's weird because like there's no real like plot to the movie, but it's this like animated film about like the stages of life, and you just kind of see little like anecdotes of people in these phases like experiencing these things,
That's so
and
cool.
it's all
I should
presented in like
tap
a
in.
really like abstract way, and like the full movie is just on YouTube to watch. Also, like
Oh,
because
hell
I
yeah.
saw like
They love
someone post
doing
a
that.
clip of it, and I was like, this looks really cool. And I watched it, and I was like, this was like made for me. I think
That shit's so special. Have you ever talked to Gwen about Gregor Rocky?
they've talked about it to me, but I don't remember much of what they've talked about. But I know they're a big fan of them.
He's the GOAT, bro. He was like a 90s like new queer film director. And his movies are like the coolest thing ever and really emotional, and they all have like shoegaze and stuff all the
Mm-hmm.
time. It's really good. I love David Lynch, obviously. All the weird stuff. I just love movies so much. And I think I was talking to Carter about this, like the process of having to sit down and chew on a weird movie for like 2 or 3 hours. It makes me feel like my brain got wrung out like a sponge and I'm clear again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you also like to put a lot of like movie like clips like into your songs too, right?
I do very often. Yeah. Let me think about where that comes from, because that's like I feel like like a mixtape lineage kind of thing. Like that's that like Ice Dancer has some shit like that. I feel like they've been doing the Scarface clip has been happening since like Almighty So in 2013. The like who put this thing together? Me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's just my version of doing like adding texture and emotional little outros, intros to stuff. It's just cute, and it feels like I can kind of like just imbue something I love into my song really quickly.
Yeah. I think also stuff with like the outside feeling of your music because you're pulling from something that's like outside of your world and bringing it into it.
That's what sampling feels like. Yeah, it's like I often feel like by sampling things I'm allowed to build a bigger world than I feel like I can from scratch, because I can pull in things that I wouldn't have made originally,
Mm-hmm.
frankly. And you also can just get so much out of choosing to use something because it has like a cultural background and it exists as its own thing, and you're incorporating that into your project. So it has all of these little implicit notes of feeling it carries, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um Actually, I don't know if this is a sample. I'm gonna transition to the next question. But one song of yours that's really interesting me is Hunter because I returned to it to listen for this interview after not listening for a while, and I was like, the guitar in this sounds really, really familiar. And then I realized that it's the same like guitar that you use on Aid. I don't know if that's a guitar that you played or if it's a sample, but like,
Okay, yeah, I made Hunter as like a single just like in my bed one night randomly, like before I made either of those tapes.
mm-hmm,
And then it was just like recorded on my guitar. And then I did a little self sample because I needed a guitar sample, and I was like, that would probably sound good. And then I threw it in there and it worked. So that's the lore. But thank you for bringing up Hunter. I like that song a lot. People don't, I, yeah, I love my
yeah,
guitar songs.
um, yeah, those are both some of my favorite songs like off of those projects. But I want to bring this up because hunters are drawn to prey, moths are drawn to light, and artists, of course, have their own like musical influences that they're also drawn to as well, right? But I'm sure there's a lot of interests that you've had throughout your life that have shaped who you are today. So I was just wondering, like, what are some just like random things that you were like obsessed with at a point of time? And this can be like literally whatever.
Oh, word. Okay. This is good. I've had plenty. I'm just like racking my brain for what I can immediately remember. When I was in middle school, was reading like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure every day.
No, I was watching it at
Um,
that time too. Yeah.
I was one of those people who is like I'm like a part seven head for some reason. I really love the later stuff. A lot of it's like media. Like I was a big Berserk fan for a long time. I'm trying to think of which ones are like weirder though, because when I was a kid, like what shows was I into? I was a big like Peanuts fan my whole life. That's like with me today. I feel like people know I fuck with Snoopy heavy. I'm always talking about Snoopy. And like Pigpen, bro. Come on. The realest chiller. Anyway, what else? Dude, for some reason I have like I have a deeply personal connection with Skyrim because when I was a kid, I was 5 and the first video game I ever saw was Skyrim because my dad was playing it. And I don't know exactly why, but I think for some reason like that game made snow really comfy for me because it's like always snowy in that. And I would watch my dad play it every night. Um, Let me think. I'm trying to think of what's like not like just stupid, but I think that might just be
No, if
fun.
it's stupid, like, because I have some stupid ones that I was gonna say that have been in my mind recently.
Let me hear. Wait, I want to hear your.
Okay, this was like an elementary school thing, but I got obsessed with like writing numbers for some reason. I had this like booklet of like construction paper, and I wrote up to like 10,000, I think, in my little booklet, and
That's so
I would
fire.
carry it around with me everywhere. And then one day, I think like there was water in my backpack, so I took it out, and then someone just stole my book of numbers, and I was so upset.
Bro, this is reminding me of my stupid one, so I'm glad you said it because when I was in elementary school, I kind of got obsessed with this, and then I made my friends get obsessed with it because I was just like, guys, I was like convinced that there had to be like an evil, like mystical secret in our town because I was 7. And I got like I bought like I made my mom get me like a leather journal, and I was like, I'm gonna keep like notes of all the stuff, and I was like, I don't know, I wanted to be in like a procedural detective movie or something,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think I'd even watched any of them. But I was really obsessed with markers for like a period.
Like just drawing with
That
them, or
was
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. And like I don't know why, but I was just like I fucking love coloring
actually
with
wait.
markers.
That reminds me, in middle school, I used to doodle a lot, and I had all these little like characters that I would draw all the time, and on my door, I would draw like my little guys, and then like cut them out and like tape them to my door. And there was like I think it was like over 100 like just like little guys on my door that I look at every day, and I kind of miss
I think
that.
if you were like a real like ensouled sensitive child, you had like multiple multi-year long narratives going on in your head of
No,
fictional
I
characters
did.
that were
Yeah,
either
I made
represented by
comics
like
of all of them. Yeah.
I did that and I would also just be like whatever like random like toys I had laying around in a bin somewhere when I was 6. I would just be like these are the characters of my Odyssey.
Did you ever make them like read books? Am I
No,
weird
I
for
read a
that?
lot of books.
No, I would,
I
because I had a lot of books, and I would like I'd read a book, and then I'd like get my stuffed animals, and I'd make them read books too, and I just like open a book in front of them while I read.
oh, I feel that. I I I wouldn't do that, but I kind of get like the personified like I would always feel like shit if like a stuffed animal was on the floor, obviously, because like what the fuck, dude?
Mm-hmm.
That's not. Come on, get him off the floor. And just yeah, I was big into just every sort of like playing pretend thing as a kid. I was kind of a fiend about. This is funny. When I was 10, for some reason, I got convinced that I should read the Odyssey, and then I tried to read it like a translation of it. And I was just like, this fucking sucks. I can't understand any of it. But I was like really obsessed with that for like a month.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying so hard to read the Odyssey.
My most recent one, I don't really know like why this started happening, but I've been getting really obsessed with like seeing pictures of like really old people. And when I say really old people, I mean like they were born in the 1700s, and it's like, how do we even have a picture of this person? Like,
Oh, that's
is that
fire.
not wild that we can just like see someone that like talked to George Washington? Like, that's crazy.
That is wild. The craziest ones are like the for like it's like the first videos ever taken, and because
Yeah.
of how like the frame rate was back then, they're always moving at like 2 times speed, and they're going like that shit's crazy. I fuck with those. Yeah, that's awesome. I'll try to give you one more recent one because I don't know what I've been obsessed with recently. Oh, I guess this is like maybe this isn't really an obsession, but it's like a daily routine thing that's kind of odd about me. I feel like I've been going to sleep to Jerema VODs for like 4 years of my life now. not all the time, but like somewhat consistently at least. Is like
Hmm.
usually I go to sleep listening to like a 37-year-old Bostonian.
I've never been like a German reviewer myself, but I had a friend in high school that was like obsessed with him.
We all know someone. I feel like I've watched him my whole life, so it's very cozy. And he's like funny. I fuck with the dude. But I was a this is kind of my like embarrassing my dark past is that I was a TF2 kid. That's like my biggest baggage. 'Cause I don't know, I feel like all the TF2 kids were the worst in 2015. But I was locked in on that game, man. Yeah, that was one of my bigger obsessions. Anyway, that's a look into my dark and twisted world.
So, I love projects of yours like Moth and Evergreen, but I think your most fully realized attempt so far of your current sound has been your most recent mixtape Warfare, which released in October of last year. To me, this easily features your fullest sound and production, catchiest vocals, and I think the longer length of the project too really helps you like get embedded like into the world that you're creating with that project. So I guess I was just wondering like what the process of working on it was like.
Well, that was let me see. I think Moth and Evergreen were probably the quickest projects I've ever made, but Warfare is like close behind because it was just like fun, honestly. I started working on that probably right after I finished Evergreen. Yeah, I just made a bunch of songs, and some of them were from earlier, but I guess with this one it felt like because I'd been working towards a similar sort of sound with the last two projects I'd been making. I had like a very solid vision of what I wanted to do and what it was going to sound like. I guess it's longer because honestly, I was like exploring every kind of corner of it. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I felt like I was finally in a place where yeah, I guess that's what, when I look back at like my older albums, I just see that I was kind of maybe playing with the potential of what I could do less. And I think that might be what's special about the more recent stuff is I'm just like pushing more little boundaries in my head. And they might not be boundaries to everyone else. I just have like stuff I expect myself to do, you know? And yeah, I think it's definitely the project I made while feeling the most comfortable about making it and probably feeling the least amount of pressure to maybe make it cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of just was. And yeah, there's something to that.
Yeah, I think it helps when you're making stuff in a short amount of time too, because like I feel like when you work on like an album or something, like you get better as you're making that album, and then by the end of it, you're like, I'm way better than the stuff at the start of the album, but and you almost like don't
Yes.
want to keep it anymore because you know it's like you could do better now. So I think making it a condensed period is like kind of good for keeping that like quality around a similar like level.
Yeah, and I also think like, you know, ideally every project is kind of a timestamp of who you were and what you were interested in, what decisions you were making creatively when you made it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, like lately I've been wondering, or like I think there's a very interesting thing to consider about like if taking more time to refine something could be actually sort of cutting some of the spirit out of it sometimes. I don't know. I just feel like I've definitely had ideas come to me where like I sat on them and fucked with them for so long that they kind of never happened. And I you know, when you make something in 1 month, you listen to it and you're like, yeah, that was the October music for sure. You know what I mean? It so vividly makes me feel like that period of time. And I also just like think I was getting better at making music in those songs, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I Pen and Paper is I think my favorite. That's out right now.
That's my favorite outfit too, actually.
Yay.
Dude, that
Shouts out.
no, that song specifically, like there was a day I had in 2023 where like me and my friends drove to this like mountaintop to like watch the sunset up there because there's a crazy view of the city from there, and like
Mm.
that day sounds like that song to me.
Aw. That's so fire, bro. That I think it's a snail mail sample to sample snitch on myself. So shout out to snail mail.
Shout out. I also like what you said about being more like comfortable with this tape because like I know you've tried doing no art and stuff before on like Evergreen, I think, but like on Teach, you sound so much more like comfortable and like confident on that song in comparison to that one.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. I think low key I just finally got to a point where I like how I sound. And lately I can like record vocals and it used to kind of feel like while I was doing it, I was like reaching at an idea I liked, but like the whole time it never like settled in my brain as I was like, yay, this is like what I want it to be like. And lately I don't know. I'm just more comfortable with my voice, honestly. I think in a way like just the more you use it, the more directly it becomes like a comfortable vessel for how you're expressing whatever you're
Mm-hmm.
expressing. And yeah, I just felt like I could do more specifically moment to moment with it on that, and I just feel like that now. And like I feel more inclined, I feel like, to express myself in specific ways with it on every song. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think you also flexed your production on this tape too, because it's all my favorite beats of yours too on here. Like the intro song, like it just feels so
Mm,
like it's like cold and warm at the same time, almost with like how you chose to like manipulate the sample.
I'm so glad. I mean, with the production is kind of the hardest for me to talk about sometimes it feels like because I've been producing since 2021, and at this point I feel like I've very solidly like I really do have like my library of sounds I like and textures I like, and it's almost like I've seen, Lucy Cooper Be Handy.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him describe his production as like he kind of built a format of producing and like a set of instruments and sounds he uses, and it almost feels like a band that gets to like use their outfit to make more music as he keeps doing it. And I felt like I kind of was really had a solid idea of what like my world like that felt like on that project, and I felt like I was really comfortable with, achieving the sounds I was looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, they just feel very realized to me.
Yeah, I'm trying to think one of those other ones I really like out that project though, like Lock It. I love because like my friend loves Elucent, so like I sent her that song. She was like, "Oh my god, what?"
Oh yeah, I'm. Do you know Mikey?
Yeah, of course.
Mikey was really excited that I sampled that song.
Mm-hmm.
I I love Illusion as well. No, looking back at this, it was also just like I was again, it's like all the stuff I was talking about before where like I was getting more comfortable with like myself as a person, being nicer to myself in general. So like, that kind of greater health just transitioned into better music in some way, or me feeling like I was, you know, maybe getting more out of the potential energy in my body to make stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I forgot the song name, but I know there's the one like Pink Panther sample beat that's just on there. Like you were just having fun with that one. Like there's no reason for that to be on the album, but it just is because you wanted it to be.
Yeah, bro, underwater. I just wanted to have an instrumental interlude, and I wanted to like I had that shit and I was like, this is hard. I want to make people listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
I was also inspired by it's both like a lot of old like Mike mixtapes and the Quinn tapes and like the 454 tapes very often have like songs that are like kind of intermediate songs between more traditional like structured songs that exist as like, specific parts of the album, and they, just stuff like that all introduces so many interesting colors and so much like just expression. I don't know, not everything has to be a single at all. And I love when people are kind of, I guess, open to making things cohesive and maybe in immediately in a not apparent way. Because things can be cohesive in like a collage
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Yeah, I think it helps expand the world because like I know for 454 and like Fast Tracks 3, there's like a DNB song that like one of the songs just transitions into and it's just there and it makes the world of the album feel so much bigger because you're like, wow, this is part of this too.
Exactly. And it's like when the way you're building a world for an album, at least for me, is I'm thinking like what influences are all being piled into this, obviously, and like what sounds are kind of represent what I'm getting at. And like on the Quinn tapes I'm thinking of, or like on the mic stuff I'm thinking about, it'll just be like these random like soul beat interludes or whatever that sound nothing like the rest of the project, but
Mm-hmm.
also feel exactly like it. And it feels like you know what it feels like for me? It feels like the language you've gotten used to for how the project is expressing itself is getting subverted, and you're seeing sides of it in new ways.
Mm-hmm.
And like, with so many albums, like the songs are structured very similarly, or you kind of learn like what the to expect from that artist's way of being. And I just like being surprised, and I like when it feels like stuff is there for the sake of being there. Like
Yeah,
it's awesome.
I know in Burning Desire by Mike, there's one song where it's just like a spoken word like poetry like interlude or this like really warm sounding like sample. I can't remember like
It's the
what the
Klein
song.
interlude, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a dark romantic horror. That's what she says. It's
Mm-hmm.
there's also one I forget. I think it's on maybe the outro of Showbiz or the outro of Burning Desire is like an ambient like pop song. Or there's like one that's kind of like it might be anyway, just crazy. Yeah, I think it's Let's Have a Ball. Maybe no. Anyway, there's something like that on a Mike album. Anyway, he does weird stuff like that and it totally adds like another dimension of texture and color to it all for me. So I wanted to do that. And that's how I feel about like the vocal samples and like the just sort of like using non-explicitly musical samples for texture
Yeah, because I know
purposes.
there's a few tracks on Warfare that are just like movie sample like interludes.
Yeah, there's I think there's a couple. I forget how many there are. I think there's two or three.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna guess
Anyway.
too.
But yeah, and it just felt like an opportunity to like I mean also for me like I was viewing that because it's a mixtape and when I make mixtapes I kind of think about listening to them and like you know when people would put tapes on SoundCloud as like all one big song
Mm-hmm.
and you like listen through and it's like a mix, like a DJ mix. That's kind of what I have in mind always. So it's like, you know, I'm curating an atmosphere through the project and I like having breaks to sort of establish it like that. It's really fun.
Yeah, those are my favorite kind of projects to like put on the background too. Cause like if it was like it's like a I guess like a low pressure like listening if that makes sense. Cause it's like a world that you're being put into rather than like an album you need to like listen to, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand. No, and it's just like it's just fire. Like mixtapes are just fire. I want to
Mm-hmm.
feel like I'm listening to someone's like cool mix that's so gas and it's so like there's like a distinct like kitschy sort of scrapbookish charm to it that gets across as like superhuman and earnest to me in a way that's emotionally compelling, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then for Teach, I think that's is that the only song that wasn't produced by you on it? Because I know there's a different producer for that one.
Yeah, it's my let me remember how to fucking it's my bro Matt
Yeah, I know they have
that
like
is in
the longer name.
they're in Adam's like they have a collective with Adam that a bunch of people are in called Gears and they recently do you know Protect
Yeah.
the rapper? Bro, they got Protect placement. So
Yeah,
shout
Carter
out
told me
to
that. That's
Adam.
crazy.
Yeah, 23.558 times 23.558. Producer, fucking go. I don't even know how they do that shit. But yes, that's the only beat that isn't me on that one. A lot more beats that aren't me coming soon, because that's what I've been having fun doing. But also plenty that are still me, because I love making beats. It's just like, you know, it's new to not record on my own stuff, and
Yeah.
that's exciting.
Were you getting sent beats during the Warfare era? Because like I feel like now people are probably sending you beats because like you kind of shown like yeah you can send me beats, but I feel like around that time like it was all self prod. So
No, I literally had to, I kind of had to like I also hadn't even I'd made two projects that were like music that you would want to send beats about. You know what I mean? Like it's my last shit was like indietronica Midwest emo. So I think I definitely needed to kind of establish like, hey y'all, I can like and you know, I have songs on other people's beats now that kind of helped a lot too.
mm-hmm.
I I've been convincing myself to not be nervous about like hitting up artists I like and producers and shit, and that's been good conditioning, frankly. A lot of nice stuff is happening. I could probably shout out, I don't know, who am I gonna work with soon? Oh, I have an unreleased with Swords 2 that should come out eventually, produced by Feral Cat, and I have that's really cool. I love that song. That's just the one I want to shout out actually. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just excited about that song. It was like a really cute acoustic emo song we made. And bro, anyone who's watching, I think your people who watch your show probably know who Swords 2 is, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, shout out to Swords 2,
Shout
bro.
out.
I don't know when they're dropping that, but it'll happen eventually. So,
Mm-hmm. I guess the last thing that I'll say for like this part of like the question is like why Warfare for like the title?
oh, okay, this is pretty simple. Basically, like I just find words that like feel right for the music, right? Like Moth was a lot of the lyrical stuff on that album felt like it was about like you know when you're in a period where you feel like sort of distinctly unstable and everything you're doing feels like kind of a way to search for stability in all of it. Like if you read a book, it's like I hope reading will make me finally stable. Or like if you make a new relationship or connection, I felt like I was in a place, or like what it's meant to be is like this idea that like a lot of the time if you give too much weight to external factors and believing that they'll like affect you, you're kind of like a moth chasing after a light or whatever. You know, that
Mm-hmm.
was the idea with that. Um, Warfare is just like honestly, I felt like I was taking more agency over my life and like, you know, I was thinking about this I think it's a Blade interview. He's talking about like this album he's making that was inspired by St. George. And he was talking about like I don't know, just the idea of like having an album that's sort of you trying to conquer something or battle something in any I don't know, it just felt like it was something that made me feel like I had agency was this idea that I was like taking charge and, you know, this is
Mm-hmm.
like I don't even really know how to verbalize it. It kind of doesn't mean that much. It just kind of and there's also a big part of it too is that I have these little frequent little talking clips from Metal Gear Solid 1 in like the interludes and stuff or like the interludes are about like it's the coach from home movies talking about fighting. So the idea is kind of like framing getting through life and figuring it out as like, you know, through like a lens of like fighting and stuff like that. And just like cool flavor imagery. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's like clips of the captain guy in Metal Gear talking to Snake or whatever. And it's just like I said, it's just the frame to explore all this stuff through for me. And I liked the little branding of it. It was cute.
No, I like the idea of like taking more control though, because like especially with the, like your previous two tapes, I feel like those are like getting glimpses like into the world you're creating. With this one, you're like fully in it because there's more tracks, it's longer, the production's just like
And
richer overall too.
it's in like a very like personal sense too of like I don't know. I've been making very sad music for a long time, and Warfare is a lot less sad
Mm-hmm.
and a lot more, I guess I would say, self-assured and hopeful. And it feels like I'm not out of control in all these songs. And a lot of my old music was about me feeling a distinct lack of control in a lot of ways. I mean, yeah. And my older music is just sadder, frankly. But it just kind of felt like a nice sentiment, I guess, to put it more simply, to be like, you know, I'm getting out of this shit a little on this one. And we're
Mm-hmm.
doing like I'm putting up some numbers on the board for once. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm not I I think for a long time, at least for me, you know, when you struggle with something for a long time, it becomes your normal. And if struggling feels like your normal, you kind of lose a sense of agency over being able to really do anything because it feels like maintaining day-to-day existence is such a anyway, I felt like I was getting to a point where I could be like, y'all, I'm like, I'm doing a little something out here, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just I'm not as miserable. And that's a great sentiment, I feel like.
Yeah, that's
Dude, we've
awesome.
been talking. We know this is a good interview because the
The
sun
sun's
went
gone
down
down.
and I'm so
Yeah.
dark now. But yeah,
Moving on. So Warfare is one of my favorite projects from last year, and one song that you released as a single to tease the tape, which you talked about a fair bit already, was "Pen and Paper," which is definitely my favorite off the project. "Pen and Paper" is the one to me that sounds the most like friendship on the project. Part of which because like you shout out like Carter and Adam like on the song, so that's part of it. But also because pen and paper and friendship to me have a pretty specific connotation. Because one thing I like to do when I meet new people is like, did you ever read Big Nate growing up? Do you remember in one of the books
yes,
when
I
they
did.
had the thing where like someone would start a doodle and then someone else would finish it? Yeah, I do that with people like all the time because I just feel like it's a cool way to get to just know how someone's brain works and like see what they do and you can talk about their doodles and whatever.
That's like the
Um,
best idea I've ever heard.
but relating this to you, though, so your work used to be, like mostly self-produced, but we talked about it earlier. Remember we were saying you've been working with people like Roach Girl, Isaacs, and Free Friends, which has been really cool to see. And you also have that full project that works with Mimic Skate also. So, given that you have all these new, maybe not new per se, but introducing into the world of LA, but all these new people, like, what are some things that you like to do to like bond with others or like helps you connect with people?
Ooh, okay. Dude, watching movies, like especially weird movies with people and then talking to them about them afterwards is like the best way to learn about someone's brain. I think.
Mm-hmm.
I really like, I don't know, just like speaking to people honestly and like chopping it up about like nothing in general is very special to me. And just like yeah, I don't know. I guess I just like value how people feel to be around, I think, in a large way. So a lot of the people like I work with just like feel good to work with and interact with to me
Mm-hmm.
in a very simple way, but it's just like, you know, good connections.
Yeah, I know with like Isaac especially, like that was so surprising to see because like imagine you would release that song like 3 years ago. Like, that would have been the most like what the fuck thing ever. But it's like it makes sense now. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and that's like, I don't know, that's part of what's so cool to me about like the sounds I use is how versatile they are and like how many contexts they can be used in.
Mm-hmm. I think for me another thing with like bonding with others is just like I guess being like intentionally weird to an extent because it's like if you're willing to put up with it, like that's how I know we'll actually like be friends.
Yeah, for sure. Or just like being expressive in like an outward way
Mm-hmm.
is very important, but also like really scary. And a lot of people are very reserved in like a deeper way than being like shy, but just like, you know, putting on like an airs of sort or an airs of a oh, I'm not speaking right,
Yeah,
but
no, it can be especially. I feel like in college, especially, like people are kind of have like their guard up a little bit before you like really get to know
I
them.
felt it even more in like early like high school. I experienced that a lot when I was younger. And yeah, I just value like openness in
Mm-hmm.
people I meet, even in a very simple like early interactions way. I feel like you can tell based on how people carry themselves and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know in my orientation, like I had this litmus test for people where like, because throughout years, like everyone was like, "Where are you from? What's your major?" and like all of that. And I knew that if I were to do that, like nobody's gonna remember who I am. So instead, I would ask them if they preferred like Cars 2 or Turbo, and that was my like intro question. And anybody
That's
that took
fire.
that question seriously, like I'm still friends with now. So like it proved it
I'm
was the
thinking about
method.
it. I think I'd probably I'm going Cars too. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid.
See, like I think if I was like 6 still, I'd also agree with you. But I just watched
No,
it
bro,
like
Cars 2
way
is
too
like actually I
much.
haven't no, but what's awesome is like it's so funny because they have like I don't know how to describe it, but just they take it so seriously the
Mm-hmm.
entire movie, and it's so dumb. It's like a plane spy has a bunch of car spies inside of it. There's like a boat, and they like kill people. They kill people, and it's like I don't know. They were like going balls to the wall. It's like some auteur shit. I don't know who like wrote and directed Cars 2. Like I don't know like if there was a single name behind any of it, but shout out to him because he was
Mm-hmm.
on some different shit.
And they got Finn McMissile in the movie.
Bro, he's the goat. I used to play, there was a Leapfrog Cars 2 game I would play when I was like 6 years old. Or they might have been like a DS game or something, like some bullshit like that.
I was gonna say because like I had a leapfrog, so like if there was a Cars 2 game and I didn't have it, like I missed out big time.
You were like, you played as Finn McMissile, bro.
That's
Like you, it's
awesome.
really lit.
No, I always I think I would like play the like wasabi scene from Cars 2 to people at my orientation for some reason. Like anybody that like would take the question seriously, like I'd show them that clip and I'd be like, "This is your go. This is your movie."
No, Turbo probably is better, but I haven't watched that in like a million years. Back to getting to know people. And for me, it has to do with like in between moments and like passive moments of just existing together and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
I think is really important.
Yeah, I think also with like college again, I think like spontaneous stuff too, just being like, "We're here right now. We should go do this thing." And just kind of seeing what comes from that too is always really awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you just like are forced to meet like a billion people every day, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll really chop it up with someone that you meet in class like 4 days ago. You know what I mean? And yeah, that stuff is really special. I've been making lots of new connections and just like I don't know. I think as I get older, I get more observant about like finding positive qualities in all the people around me and how they like socialize and carry themselves. And everyone just seems very special to me all the
Mm-hmm.
time. So that's been it's yeah, that keeps a girl rocking.
As they say. Yeah. Well, that might be how you make friends, but I think one of us is about to make an enemy right now, because if you don't know, in every interview that I do, I play rock, paper, scissors with the artist that I have on. And currently, I'm on a 3-person winning streak because I beat Departure in the last one that I did. So I was wondering if you'd like to play rock, paper, scissors, best 2 out of 3 with me right now.
I got you, bro.
Okay. And you gotta close your eyes because there's a little delay with the camera. Yeah, okay. It's best 2 out of 3. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Wait. What'd you do?
Oh, sorry.
Tie. Okay.
Oh, word. Okay. I gotta make it higher. There we go.
Yeah, okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh.
Oh,
So you're up 1.
all right, fire. This is
Okay.
the big game.
Yeah, it's the 1. Or maybe the 2. We'll see. Alright. Paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, wait, I didn't even
Wait.
run that back out. You went too fast, bro. Hold on.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Tied again.
Oh, my lord.
Okay.
Ba-boom.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. You won. That's it. My streak gone. And I
Wait.
have,
How do I do the fireworks?
I think you have to be closer together. Or maybe you haven't earned it because you beat me and you're not allowed to anymore. Like, that was my thing. And you just.
No,
Wait,
but
I think if I do this,
so
it starts like raining. Is it just? I've seen it happen before. Maybe not.
it doesn't fuck with us. Let me hit the light again. I liked it cozier. One sec. I'm in a 4-person dorm right now. Shit gets hectic. Okay. Was that a question, or did we just do it right
That's a
off?
question. Yeah, that's a question.
Well, I mean, we got the answer of who's better at rock, paper,
Yeah.
scissors.
Well, I don't know if it was too better. So I just wanted to see, but I guess that answers it.
The question is like, who's a better person, right?
A better person overall. Yeah, and I think you just proved it
Yeah,
with
this
you.
is like supposed
So
to answer how good of a person you are.
yeah, I will say that Virginia is really good at rock paper scissors for some reason. Because like you, Carter, and Gwen have all won when you've done it.
That's odd. I guess yeah, I don't really ever identify any consistent traits in Virginians. I don't really feel a lot of Virginia state identity because I'm from I grew up as like a kid in New York, so that always like kind of feels like the state I recognize as being the one I'm from. But shout out to Virginia, bro. Shout out to Richmond. We're out here. It's been beautiful this week. I met some very sweet ladies on the street when I was at the gas station, or not like like the corner store
Mm-hmm.
before. Shouts out, bro. Virginia has very sweet people in it.
Wait, when did you move to Virginia?
2018.
Oh, so that's like, I mean, I guess for you that is like relatively like earlier.
Yeah, but it was still like kind of foreign in my life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I don't know. It's a weird. It was like it was some shit. I was a kid, so I was just like, whatever, let's do
Mm-hmm.
it. I was probably thinking about something else. You know what I mean? I was probably thinking about the Binding of Isaac. But no, dude, if I was like 11 and 12, I was definitely thinking about like did you ever listen to like modern baseball and
Yeah, but
like
not
the
during
front
that time
bottoms?
period. Not during that time
Bro,
period.
when I was like 12 or 11, I rocked with like McCafferty and the front bottoms so hard. It was like I don't know. It probably hasn't aged well, but it's endearing music to me. So
Mm-hmm.
shout out to that. That's a little more musical background. Um, so what, pray tell, is the next question?
Ooh, well, I'm so glad you asked. Um, although this one, like, I've asked this one twice before, and people are always really confused by it because I feel like it's not something that you like think about ever. But I think it's worth asking. So, I've been trying to get more into film recently, as we talked about earlier, actually. Because it's something that I admittedly don't know much about. So, I've been checking out a lot of movies recently that people consider classics, and one of them that I watched like a few weeks ago was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And there's a song in that movie that sounded very familiar when I watched it, and I realized, wait a minute, that's the Class of '05 sample. Whoa. Um,
Yep.
yeah. So I think as an interviewer, like memory is something that I value a lot, just because these kind of like create like a time capsule of like who you are like in this moment, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Man, this is me and you right here, right now. And we'll probably be different in like 2 months on some new shit.
Hopefully for the better.
That's what I'm saying. We keep growing and evolving.
Mm-hmm.
We're both gonna be 7 feet tall, and we're gonna be playing for the Lakers together.
Together, I think like piggybacked up, right?
Yeah, like Shaq and Kobe though, or like I don't know. I need to be getting your rebounds
Yeah, we're
next
gonna get
week.
like a really big trench coat and go on the court.
Okay. Sorry, what was your question?
Um, yeah. So
There was the sample
yeah,
and memory.
yeah. However, because obviously you've watched the movie Eternal Sunshine. However, is like all about forgetting stuff. And I think it's also valuable to think about the things that have kind of faded away from our mind over time that have like as we become the current version of us. So, what are some things that you don't remember anymore
Just at all.
at
This is
all?
a good.
Yeah.
I like this question. I've been actually digging deep into this because I was thinking I, for some reason I was up one night thinking about, you know how like you can kind of really not remember what your like elementary school looked like at all?
Well,
I was
for me that's not true, but it's because my school was kindergarten through eighth grade. So like,
oh, that makes sense. Our mine was weird because in New York, like the town I lived in, we had like kindergarten through second grade was elementary school, and then third through fifth was intermediate school, and then we did the rest normal.
mm-hmm.
Anyway, I was just like thinking back to try to remember like these early environments that I lived in as a kid, because that's like formative emotional stuff. And I don't know. I was looking up like just like looking online to see if I could see what my old school looked like in New York. And it was like the craziest memory bomb because I was having a moment where I was thinking about like um, so like I feel like daily life is usually like sort of perceived by us through our routine, if you know what I mean, and it kind of like there's a predictable nature to it. And I was just thinking about like how at different points in my life, very distantly, like my routine was 100% different than it is now, in a way that seems like imperceptibly like large and vast and like so different.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was looking back and just thinking about all like the weird shit I would be doing in kindergarten every day. They had us on those. This is a thing I forgot. This is my number one on the list. The in gym class when they would give you the rolly little scooter
Oh
things
yeah,
that were
yeah,
just
yeah.
and you would run around like going on it at every that was fire. I was remembering I don't know. I was kind of remembering just like the structure of elementary school. Remember when we would all, maybe your teachers didn't do this, but would have to like, all the kids would go and sit on this like morning carpet and we'd have like announcements and shit we
Oh
did. And
yeah.
like,
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, no, you're right. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
I know, I was just thinking about like, I don't know. I think remembering what life was like when you were like 7 is pretty crazy and pretty, I don't know. It's emotionally affecting for me at least. It's been a wild one. And, yeah. Bro, I was also remembering my fourth grade teacher recently, Miss Monteleone, was the fucking goat, bro. Because she was all about mindfulness. So that was like her teachers would have like kind of buzzwords, I feel like, in elementary school. And she would always be like talking about like clean slate mindsets and like, I don't know, just like it's like proto-therapy, but I still think of that shit today. So shout out to her. I kind of remembered that that was the source of a lot of like healthy mental habits I have.
That's awesome. I think like the biggest one for me that I don't remember anymore is like in preschool. Like obviously we had friends in preschool, but I can't think of what any of these people were. There's like two that come to mind, but it's because I knew them later on still, so I remember knowing them then. But everyone else is just like gone from my memory.
No, I can't remember preschool at all. I can remember like vaguely what some of the rooms looked like, and I can remember like 3 or 4 very like colorful but abstract like vignettes. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm.
remember maybe you were maybe we can bond on this because I feel like a lot of people have early memories of like the first like crazy thunderstorms they saw. And I remember being in preschool when there was like a crazy ass one outside and we were all inside with like the power off.
I'm trying to think. There's one I have. I had it from like four, because there was this dog I had that like passed away like while I was in preschool. But I remember it was like thundering, and like she was like near me during it, or I came into my room like while I was thundering or something.
That's so cute. Bro, I love dogs. I've had I'm a big pet person. But anyway, yeah, love childhood vignettes. I love digging my brain for them, and I think I don't know, the specific texture that memories have is something I'm always like very drawn to, and I think that's something I try to capture in what I make.
Yeah, it messes with my head like whenever you picture an image in your head, because it's like I don't know how to like, because like you picture it, but it's not all the way there, but you can't really describe like the way that it's there.
Mhm.
If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's low key like it's like a metaphysics thing of like where are thoughts, where are imagined things, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not answering that,
Yeah,
but
no, because I have a friend that has like aphantasia and also like no inner monologue, and like I can't
Mhm.
imagine like how that is.
Whenever I hear about that, it sounds like chill, but I know that's just like probably like grass greener on the other side phenomenon.
Well, but like, what's the benefit to not having that though?
Oh, I'm just I'm kind of I've my whole life I've been like obsessively anxious about everything. So I would like to me it sounds like a permanent Zan. So but like the thing is like I don't know, you would never know that someone's like that. So it probably is just like a weirdly abstractly similar version of how we experience things.
Yeah, no, like one of my like best friends since like third grade, I was talking to him like a year ago about it. I found out that he doesn't have either of them. So I was asking him questions about it, and like he said, like if you ask me like picture an apple, like he can't picture an apple, but he can like describe the apple because he just like knows. If that makes
Mhm.
sense, like it's like they picture the image without picturing it, so like the message is just get like transferred to their brain immediately.
That makes sense. It's just like you just like register the block of information almost, like
Yeah,
all the things that
basically.
make you identify an apple. That's fire. I don't know. I would be walking around the grocery store as a kid, just like really vividly imagining that like a rocket ship was crashing through the ceiling or something. That was my whole. I was yeah, just bored as hell and stop and shop.
No, I would do that, but I'd imagine like Angry Birds like bouncing around like all the walls.
Would you ever, when you were in the car, you'd have like your hand up like this, like you'd be running on the side of the
Yeah,
road?
well, no, I would see a guy. Like, I wouldn't do it myself, but like I would see a guy
Mm,
running.
that's fire.
It's weird how
I
everyone had that too, because like nobody tells you to picture that. Like everyone did that.
no, and no one was at school as a kid talking about doing that. You know what I mean? Like that was really just some primal baby shit.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Well, pray tell, is there another question inbound?
Uh, yeah, and this is another music related question. Um, so while these artists have all been around for a few years now, recently there's been a wave on SoundCloud that features the like emo folk plug sound. I don't know if there's like an official name for it, but there's artists and producers like Ivy, Insect, and then I'm just gonna say XF. Like you know who I'm talking about, but I don't know how to say that name.
Mhm.
Being at the forefront of it, and you'd already been doing that sound or like something adjacent to that sound for like 2 years already, and now you've kind of been like lumped into that scene a little bit. Like you even got put on that trending raps post for it, even though like you were doing this like completely separately the whole time.
Bro,
So
we're trending. We're
yeah,
trending raps.
yeah. So I guess I was just wondering like, how do you feel with that whole like that whole wave right now, and just I guess like being sort of linked to it, but not really.
I think it's fire. Like I don't really care, to be honest, that much about I think that the way like you're perceived or grouped into internet scenes is very much just like implicit and based on like aesthetics as much as anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I like fuck with all those artists and I listen to them and their current work inspires my current work because it was like I mean it was just like kind of a synergistic thing where I was like interested in people who were doing stuff that was like what I wanted to do and then I found people doing it and now I have this is fun because I have do you know a cat emoji?
No, actually.
She was on that post too. Anyway, Insect, I have a song with coming soon. I think it's on the Mimicsgate album. I have a feature from them on there, and they're the goat. I have a song with Capmoji that'll come out eventually. I have something with Swords 2 we did. Um, but anyway, yeah, they're all just like awesome, and I fuck with their music, and we're all doing adjacent things in our own ways, and that's like all it really needs to be. And I was like, you know, I don't know if it's called, I don't know what it's called. I don't know if it's called emotional wave or journal music. I don't really think there has to be like a genre name for it. It's just like a little micro, group together scene or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I feel only like positivity towards that. And yeah, shout out to the bros of them.
Yeah, I think it has kind of helped, like, I guess give your music more of like a home in a way too, even though that was never like the intention. Just because now it does kind of exist in like a broader context of stuff, whereas before I feel like it was like this is LA Bell's music, and because you didn't like work with other producers or get like features, it was just kind of like your stuff. But now it exists in this broader universe.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just feel less like isolated, it's
Mm-hmm.
fire. And I working with people is inspirational and like pretty quintessential to growing as an artist, I would say. So I've been having so much fun making things with everyone and learning about myself through it. I guess that's kind of the biggest boon of all of it.
Yeah, I was listening to Untitled by XF earlier today. Actually, that project is so good.
I loved that album, especially when it came out. It was big rotation for me. I saw him play it live at a venue down here in Richmond, or a couple of songs off it at this set he did. It was a
Mm,
great time, and he let me bum a Camel Crush. Shout out to that.
shout out.
Um, but yeah, no, that album is great, and I don't know, it was really cool to find like people like you said doing something close to where my own like ideas lied, and yeah, that's really all there is to it. It's pretty. I feel like you can kind of group any somewhat similar group of like underground musicians into a thing. And I don't know, there's pros and cons to labeling it and all that stuff. I kind of just don't pay mind to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like not what I, it's not what my brain is like good at or drawn to. So I just think about the music. But yeah, it's just like fire, honestly. Go listen to those people if you haven't. They're awesome. And Ivy is one of the best producers like working right now, I think.
True. Yeah, like the 100% Prod IV. That's a great project also. And
That's one of
then
my favorite albums in the world. I don't know if I mentioned Lucy Cooper Be Handy in my inspos thing, but absolute goat. Like one of my favorite musicians of all time.
mm-hmm. I can definitely hear it like vocally a little bit too.
It's just that earnesty and that like I don't know, it's expression. And it's like so, there's I think certain things sound especially like visceral emotionally or raw because
Mm-hmm.
they're like gentle and very rawly expressed. And that's something I'm drawn to, obviously. So yeah, I fuck with him and he's beautiful and he's like low key, like, I don't know, he's like our fried Bob Dylan or something. He's really the goat.
Mm-hmm. I guess also like, are there any other people that you want to work with that you haven't yet? Just now that you are like collaborating so much more.
This is a fun question. Well, there's some people that I recently started talking to. I'll shout Ego Seed, if you know
I've
him,
heard that name.
a really, really talented producer. I've been liking their production for a long time. Anyway, but they hit me recently, and we're gonna do something eventually. So I'm excited about that. But as far as people I haven't talked to, I don't know, bro. Like, obviously, like musicians, I would. Oh, actually, this is something cool too. I have to record on this Fear Dorian beat I got, so I can mention that here. I got some Fear Dorian beats,
That's really
and I
cool.
gotta. I know, and he knows my friend Alyssa who plays in Your Arms Are My Cocoon, and I think they had like Eyes Shut or something on by me, and he followed me on the gram. So shout out to him for being tapped in and for sending me beats, and I'll hit them soon. I guess I think yeah, that's a works for the question. Those are some like future things that'll probably happen.
Yeah, one that I was thinking that would be cool is like Wizard Pem. I don't know how much of his production you've heard, but
His beats are so good. I actually really If someone get me tapped in with Wizard Pem. I remember when he was like 15 or whatever, or 14 on Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I he sent me mails a while back, so like we could make something happen, perhaps,
We can make something
possibly,
happen. But
maybe.
you know, I would love to hop on a Wizard Pen beat. He's fire. Yeah. No, he's seriously so good. I also have known I've been a big fan of China Poet beats for a while. And I've also chill ass guy, funny ass person,
Mm-hmm.
my goat Paul. So I also want to make something with him at some point too. I guess I'll put that out in the world right now.
Yeah, I think with Wizard Pen, like, cause his production is so like soft and like pastel almost that like I think would definitely fit into like the world you've already created with your stuff.
No, and he always he really understands like writing compelling chord progressions, I think, that are like melodically just like they catch your ear and they're pleasant and they're
Mm-hmm.
wonderful. So, no, big ups to him. I love I don't know. I just love like people who really have a subdued constant sauce in their beats. Like he doesn't have like a crazy gimmick. He's really just like he just makes great beats. It's so
Yeah,
fire.
me and him talked about that in his interview because like he has such a distinct style, but it's nothing like quote unquote like super crazy. It's just like that's just him.
It's just taste. It's just you, bro. And that's I don't know. I think that's something that I kind of got much closer to the past couple of years is like more so just doing stuff because like it's me and I want to do it and it's fun and not trying to be like impressive or different at all with things or just like pressuring myself to make things like a certain way that's I don't know, more conventionally interesting. If
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. Like it's
Yeah.
really okay to have simple stuff and have just do what you need to get the idea out and make it feel colorful and awesome. And yeah, basically like don't worry if you don't feel like you're doing too much because you really can do too much and it's good to just do enough.
Yeah, that's how I feel about like I think the whole style is really cool, but that more recent trend of the sound collage esque like beats for this have like a million different drums in there. Like they can be really cool sometimes, but there's other songs like here where like it feels like it's doing it for like the sake of doing it almost, and not because it makes sense in like a song.
I think that's kind of an issue with when any sort of like, you know, revolutionary, however much credence you want to give that claim. Whenever a big new sound I also should just say I really fuck with like the Step Team original beats are crazy and like Heron's hard. I love all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But whenever a big sound crops up and is like considered impressive and sort of inspirational to people, they there's very quickly a group of people who you know misunderstand the sound and take it for its most obvious cues and express it in like a pastiche of itself. And there's a lot of that online, especially if you're on like producer internet. It's just a lot of stuff like that all the time because it's what gets traction.
Yeah, I don't know
And
if you remember the whole like Ivy's Ruin production, that whole thing.
I remember I just know that people kept like my friends kept sending me videos of these like 37-year-old white men making the worst Step Team quote unquote beats ever. And it would be like a beat with like a splice new jazz sample with like a triplet hi-hat pattern. It wasn't
And
even
the
like the
snare
same
always sits on
thing.
the three still.
Yeah, exactly. If they're feeling frisky, they'll have one bar where it's on the four. And it's like, ooh.
Ooh.
But no, yeah, I just in a world where there's so much of that like loud, sort of very in your face expression, I really appreciate someone like him who's very you know, just sort of doing his thing in a
Yeah.
quiet, wonderful way.
It also shocked me that like, he doesn't know how to play piano. Like I thought he had like a crazy like music background, but he just like puts it in with his mouse and that's it.
Yeah, that I can actually low key you can hear when someone if you know like if you've made like a MIDI demon plug beat, you can really hear when someone's like a beast on the FL Studio keyboard with some purity or
Mm-hmm.
some what have you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess those are my shouted out people I am working with soon or would like to work with. It's a beautiful world of artists out there.
Yeah, and I guess like on that topic, so we've been talking a lot about your future plans, for example, potentially putting out that or part of that like other album you're working on, the Moonscape project, these people you want to work with. I guess just like, is there anything else like in store for ELLIEBELL going forward that you haven't brought up yet in this interview?
Oh, this is a good thing to mention actually, is more physicals and merch coming eventually. I have to like dial in on getting all the designs good. I think I'm gonna do the like tapes or CDs or whatever designs myself. And
Mm-hmm.
we might be able to do vinyls this time because I've been legally an adult for a while now and I can now sign over my rights to be licensed as vinyls. Um, but I also have there's some people like visual artists that I want to work with to maybe do some clothes designs and stuff like that. And I think all of that would be super exciting. I don't know, I just want to explore like, you know, sort of the extra creative stuff outside of music, but it comes a bit slowly compared to the pace of music because that's what I tend to just prioritize.
Mm-hmm.
But that will all happen eventually, I'm sure this year. And I think the other thing on the agenda is I just want to like probably play a live show or a few this year. And there's some like vaguely lined up as possible, and we'll figure it out. Stay tuned is the word on that, but there's definitely stuff happening. It's I was gonna say it's not Motion Monday. It's Thursday. It's Throw Them Back saying get it back like Boomerang Thursday, like that one Kodak Black song where he said that.
I don't listen to him at all, but I'll take your word on it.
It's an old Kodak Black song on SoundCloud. It's very good. But anyway,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just very excited to see where we go from here because again, like I've been saying, I've probably said it like 5 times now, but like it just feels like your world has been opening up so much recently, and I just hope to see that continue. I guess.
me too. We're gonna keep going. It's very nice to be in a spot where I feel like I can just kind of, I think building like a workflow or like a creative process and building an artistic identity are very hand in hand. And I'm at a point now where I feel like I have a very steady workflow and a very steady sense of what I'm doing. So I'm just expanding it and having fun with it. And it's a good day-to-day existence as a creative for me. Yeah, guys, make art. It's awesome.
Yeah, and this thing I always do at the end, but you've kind of been doing it throughout the interview. But as the episode comes to a close, is there anyone else that you want to give a shout out to?
Yes. I gotta make sure I don't miss anyone, so I'm just gonna see who I've talked to most recently and if there's anyone. Bro, shout out to Sentry on SoundCloud, my bro Adam, obviously Chapters 226. Everyone, everyone I know through you. You know, Happy, all those people, Isaacs, just everyone. Shout out to everyone that knows me and everyone that's worked with me ever, and shout out to every person on earth. And shout out to you next to me.
Well,
Yes. And
I'm
shout
to
out
your
to
left.
shout out to you.
Yeah.
And shout out to the person watching this video.
Shout out.
Shout out to everyone and shout out to being kind to yourself so that you can be kinder to others. That's my shout out. But no, anyway, yeah. I think that covers most of the people.
I mean, you said everyone on the entire planet, so like I'd hope that's maybe if they're on the space
But
station.
I'm saying, but like I got love for the world. I got love for everyone. Um, I got love for all the animals too. That's all.
All right. Well, shout out all those people, and shout out ELLIEBELL. Thank you for doing this. I had a lot of fun. This is one that I've been wanting to do for a while. I think I asked you about it. Like, it was definitely like it might have been over the summer last year. Honestly, I don't remember how long ago it was.
I was like probably in high school still. No, wait. Maybe I was. I don't even know because I had like an older Discord account, I thought.
Yeah, it was on your other account before.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad we did it.
Yeah, so all of her links will be in the description down below. So like, if you're not tapped in with her and you're at the end of the interview, like, well, what are we doing, guys? Come on, you gotta go do that. I also have 3 of my favorite songs by her in the playlist that are on Spotify and SoundCloud for Hidden Driveway. So like, if you're not familiar with her work, like that. That can be like a quick little intro. And is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Go hard daily.
But not too hard.
No, go hard. Okay, let me rephrase. Go as hard at love and kindness and patience and peace as you do at work and striving and inspiration.
Okay, that I can get behind because like if you go hard, you're gonna get burned out. But you can't love too
That's true.
hard. People say they do,
Everything in
but you
moderation.
can't.
Health is balance. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for the interview. Have a great night, bro, and thank you for the
Oh, is that? Okay. Well, all right. Well, that was the intro. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.